Are the Milwaukee Bucks cooked? Not only in this NBA playoff here in 2025, but as a team in the years going forward. Welcome to Wire to Wire. He's Cole Bryson. My name is Diesel. I'm on location at the Ingles in Powdersville. Stop by. We got some Ingles gift cards to give away, a fan upstate hat as well. Could be yours if you're the first Tolo to come by and shout Tolo to my face. You could take that thing home with you. But Cole, welcome into the show. The Milwaukee Bucks down 0-2 in their series right now against the Pacers, a team that, you would think, given the quality of Giannis and the other players on this team, that Milwaukee should handle the Pacers more easily than they have. But I wonder, when you look at the production that the Bucks got out of Giannis and the other players on this team in the second game of that series, is there just not enough firepower left on this team to be a serious NBA championship contender?
So I've got several thoughts. Number one, they're definitely, Diesel, not the same team that won the NBA championship, right? Giannis last night, 34 points. You got production out of him, 14 of 20. However, when you look around, you're having to rely on somebody like Bobby Portis off the bench to provide 28 points. He provided 28 points last night. Damian Lillard, who, I'm going to say it, used to be one of the best guards in the NBA, is not that guy anymore when it comes to point production, offensive production. Only 14 last night. Kyle Kuzma's like 94 years old. Kyle Kuzma has been in the NBA forever. He had 12 last night. They just don't have the overall body of work, Diesel, to be able to go up against Tyrese Halliburton, who is really, really good. They're getting a ton of production from everybody in terms of what Indiana's doing. To your point, Milwaukee's in trouble. It's a very interesting series. I watched last night. I think this, Diesel, to go big picture here, I think this could be the beginning of the end for Giannis, maybe in Milwaukee. He's a superstar, one of the top players on planet Earth. And Milwaukee, it's not a destination city market, right? Maybe Diesel, we're about to see the beginning of the end. Maybe Giannis jump ship.
Well, yeah, Giannis is in his 11th season as a pro. He's 30 years old. He's still obviously one of the best, if not the premier power forward in the game. But he is on the wrong side of 30. His skills will be at top level probably for the next 2, 3, 5 years tops. At some point, he's got to start coming down. There's no reason to believe that he'll have the exact same longevity that LeBron James had, even though he is another physical freak of nature the way that LeBron is. But, there's a reason why not many actually achieve playing at a high level until they're 40 years old. And you look around the league, Cole, you've got a bunch of guys in their mid-20s who are playing that power forward position, who are making a push maybe to unseat Giannis as the best power forward in the game. Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a couple other ones are nipping at his heels. It's time for John Horst, the GM of the Milwaukee Bucks, to get Giannis some help to make a push for another NBA championship next year, or it's time for Giannis to start thinking about hitting the road and seeing what else is out there available for him. We've seen a lot of the big-time players, and it has been refreshing to see some of the big-time younger players stay with the team that drafted him, dance with the person that brought you longer into their careers. It's not the case for everybody, but we have seen a couple of high-profile cases where that's happened. But at some point, they start thinking about legacy. They start thinking about championships. How can I, at 30, 31, 32 years old, team up with somebody else who's great, and we go start stacking chips?
JD on the YouTube stream says Milwaukee's been in trouble since the moment they hired Doc Rivers, and I don't disagree, JD. Doc Rivers, from when he got hired in Milwaukee, it was as head-scratching could get. Obviously, the tenure in L.A. didn't last very long. It is absolutely mind-boggling to me to understand how Doc Rivers is still a head coach in the current NBA, but he is. And now, all of a sudden, Rick Carlisle, who was passed up as just, liver mush and sardines a couple of years ago in Dallas.
Hey, I like liver mush.
By the way, I really do. He's a really good Indiana team. And here is what Giannis said last night. They asked him about going down 2-0. A little bit of frustration from Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I really don't care about what people think or what they think or what we think. I really don't care. My mindset right now is game 3. I know I know what I gotta do.
He says, I know what I got to do. Obviously, Diesel, a lot of frustration. In a 7-game series in the NBA, when you go down 2-0, boom, does that mental aspect of the game, right, being down 2-0 in a 7-game series, Diesel, that wears on you. And when you're out there getting your butt beat every night and you're not competitive and you don't have any help and you're relying on a 39-year-old Kyle Kuzma, I know he's not really that old, but he seems like it. It is mentally fatiguing, I guess, if I can make up that word. It's frustrating because Giannis knows what to do. He's a champion. He knows how to win. However, they just don't have the roster in place.
As you said it, Giannis put up 34 last night. Portis off the bench was gigantic. He had what was the number you said he had? Portis had a bunch
20,
of
20 he had 28 last night.
28, but nobody else on the team was producing. And that's the problem is when you only have 2 major scorers for your team, you're unlikely to be successful, especially in playoff scenarios. You look at the Pacers, Pascal Siakam scored 24 points, but 6 Pacers were in double figures. You got scoring coming from all over the place. It's one of those situations where it forces Giannis to play major minutes, which, drains him for later on in the playoffs or even later on in the series. And whenever he's off the court, they're just not scoring. And that's not good enough to get it done against these Pacers.
JD asked, did you hear what Doc said? He said he has no clue how to come back from 0-2, basically. And again, JD, he's not the coach right now that's going to lead this team. No offense to him. He's put in his time. He's been in the NBA for a very long time. Giannis Diesel, here's what I'm going to say. Yes, the Indiana Pacers will go on to win this series, and they're a sneaky team. The Indiana Pacers are, okay? 50-32 on the season is not really sneaky, but they're sneaky in terms of playoff success. I will say, as bad as Milwaukee looks in the Eastern Conference, I don't think it really matters. I think the Western Conference is wide open, but when you look at the East, Diesel, it looks like to me Boston is going to go back and win back-to-back championships. It's going to be hard for anybody, whether it's Indiana or even if Milwaukee somehow were to come back to get this series. I just don't see it happening in terms of maybe the Cavaliers, as good as they are. Boston just looks like they're on an absolute another level.
JD said that liver mush is nasty. Well, I got a question for the Tolos. What's something that a lot of people consider to be nasty to eat, to drink, whatever, that you actually really enjoy? JD's already in. It says Brussels sprouts.
That's gross.
Brussels sprouts are gross.
And they smell terrible.
Awful. What's worse, Brussels sprouts or the smell of somebody microwaving fish in your office kitchen? It's gross. Don't do it. Don't bring Brussels sprouts. Don't bring broccoli, especially if it's a day old. Don't be bringing that stuff into the company kitchen. You're going to run everybody off. It's bad form. Coming up a little bit later on in the show, we've got some audio from Tom Coughlin, Super Bowl winning head coach of the Giants on college football. Does he really have a whole lot of room to weigh in, considering he spent his entire career in the NFL? We're going to talk to Nate Garner, head coach of North Greenville football at 4:25. Cole's got an update on the Limestone University situation coming up at 4:45. Of course, we hope that Melissa Leavell, Ingles marketing director, will be joining us at 5 o'clock as we're here live at Ingles in Powdersville. Got some gift cards to give away, some Ingles gift cards, also some Fan Upstate gear if you want to come by and grab that. But last night in the NBA, again, we were just talking about it, Bucks 115, Pacers 123. Indiana's up 2-0 in that series. Oklahoma City leads the Grizzlies 2-0 in their series. And the Timberwolves Lakers tied at 1-1 as the Lakers took the win 94-85 last night. It wasn't it was an exciting game, Cole, low-scoring game, but also not the only little bit of contention inside that arena, as there was some courtside action going on with LeBron and a rapper. What do you know about this?
I have not heard anything about it. Courtside action, like eyeing each other. I mean, what?
Well, let me tell you here. Okay, this is rapper Kevin Gates. Who I've never heard of, don't know who this guy is, sparked some controversy by criticizing LeBron James's wife, Savannah, on Instagram Live. It praised the way that white women look at LeBron James. Well, LeBron responded with a cryptic social media post calling Kevin Gates a peasant.
What's her name?
And then that bubbled over when Gates
B-U-R-T.
attended last night's Lakers-Timberwolves game and sat courtside with his girlfriend. And, of course, fans are speculating on confrontations between LeBron and Kevin Gates.
You know, I did not see that last night. I did see somewhere in the news where Kevin Gates, and I've heard of him. I don't listen to that kind of music, but I've heard of the guy. I will say I watched, but I didn't see any of that, so I didn't watch close enough. It doesn't surprise me. There's always some sort of drama in terms of, I mean, it's L.A., right? It's L.A. I did think it was a good game, though. Before we get into the actual game, let's go to the phone lines. Bert wants to weigh in. 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-326-3663. That is the way you can get in touch with the show. What's up, Bert?
Good afternoon. I enjoy listening to the Fan Zone. I've seen the Landrum coach, Coach Bridges, has stepped down. Do y'all have any insider information on that? And it's pretty late in the season, I thought that happened.
Good question. Thanks for the call, Bert. I did see that earlier today where Brent Bridges, the Landrum coach, did step down. I was told it was because of some personal reasons and him just wanting to step away right now in terms of getting away from the game for a little bit. He said that he might come back to coach a little bit later on, but that's kind of all I have right now. But we'll keep you updated on if we hear more on that.
This rapper, Cole, by the way, Kevin Gates, just again, I'd never heard of him before, has 7 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Definitely not a peasant. You know, he's people in the rap game, I'm sure, know all about him, know that he's probably a big deal.
Yeah, I'd heard of him before.
I don't know anything about him, but, 7 million is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, like I said, I'd heard of Kevin Gates. T-Swizzle on the YouTube stream says, Gates definitely not a peasant. LOL, Bron overrated. T-Swizzle is trying to talk a little trash already to me today. What's up, T-Swizzle? What's up, the OG Tolo JB? Good to see you. Madcraft, JD, a good number of Tolos, 47 total in the stream where you can watch the show live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Diesel, it was so here's what I put on Twitter earlier. It was a good win last night for LA. However, I don't think this team is going to make a deep run this year as much as I would like to see them do. And I know that may shock you. I don't think they make a deep run. Last night, Los Angeles really exerted their full effort into this game, into this win, and they scored 94 points. Like, again, 94 points in the modern day NBA. You said it. It's low scoring, right, compared to what we're used to. Rui Hachimura, only 11 last night. You play 34 minutes. Rui's got to get more offensive production. LeBron had 21. Obviously, could need a little bit more from him. Jackson Hayes, the center, he's pretty much terrible offensively. I mean, there's no production you're going to get there in terms of Jackson Hayes. Luka had 31. Austin Reeves had 16, which is good. You might could ask for a little bit more from Austin Reeves, but Diesel, when you look at the bench, Dorian Finley-Smith, 7. Gabe Vincent, 6. Jared Vanderbilt, 0. Jordan Goodwin, 0. I tweeted out earlier that as much as I would love to see this Lakers team make a run, I don't think they make a run. I think they get past Minnesota, but I would not be shocked at all if Golden State beat Los Angeles in the next round, because Golden State's peaking right now. They're playing really good basketball, and Los Angeles is really good. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think they have enough depth in terms of making a run to the NBA championship.
Dewey gets in on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line, 844-326-3663. He says NBA players are nothing but whiny, petulant children.
Is that Dewey's favorite word, petulant?
Besides, yeah,
well, that's
probably.
true. That's true.
Let's see. Tennessee Tyler says his food that he loves to eat, no matter how many people tell him it's gross, is Spam. I don't eat Spam, Tennessee
God.
Tyler. Granted, I didn't grow up eating Spam. My mom didn't buy Spam, but my dad bought the heck out of some liver mush, and we had it all the time. Come on, you fry it up till it's nice and crispy, and you make a liver mush egg and cheese out of it with mayonnaise on one side, mustard on the other side. You can't touch that, man. It's good stuff.
It's really good. I love it. It may not – it's kind of like a hot dog. You may not want to know what all is in it, right? But
it's pork products. It's all meat from somewhere.
Let's see. Texter says, did Kuzma redeem himself last night? He was good last night, Texter, but the problem is you're not going to get that on a nightly basis. I mean, let's just Google here. I'm going to guess he's in his 30s. Seems like he's 40 in terms of how old Kyle Kuzma. He's 29. I thought he was more like 32, 33. I know I joked earlier about him being the old guy, but look, he's just he's the B word. He's a bust in terms of him going to the Lakers and then not being able to transpire into what people thought he could be. He is getting up there. He's not quite as old as I thought he was, but he wasn't bad last night. Texter from the 781 says Luka could be that X factor Cole. They aren't deep, but Luka has the ability to turn it on. And you're right, Texter. He does. That is 100. I do agree with you. He is the X factor. They're not deep. They're not as deep as I would like them to be. But at any given moment in the playoffs, you're right. You do have to prepare for LeBron and Luka, and that's tough. That's a lot to ask. And Austin Reeves, JD brought up Austin Reeves a minute ago. He has the ability to go for 30 on any given night, so you can't just look past him. They have the ability to win big games. I just don't know. These are 7-game series we're talking about, Diesel, like it's a long series. You have to do it consistently. That's the story in the NBA. If you want to hold the NBA championship up, you don't have to be good for one game. You have to be consistently good throughout the course of 2 months, and I don't know that the Lakers are built for that.
I still think these NBA playoff series are too long. Shrink them down to 5 at least. I'd like to see it 3, create that immediacy. But
I'd like
somebody else is on my side.
I'd like the first round to be 5. I would like
5.
I would the first round 5. After the first round, I want 7. JD says, to your point, though, Cole, it would take Luka and LeBron both having absolute fantastic games every game to beat the Warriors. I definitely don't trust them against Jimmy and Steph, and that's true. It's either going to take that, JD, or some bench production, and they don't have the best bench production. Texter also says from the 230, Lakers don't have enough size, and that's part of it. Jackson Hayes, they get rid of AD. Jackson Hayes is your new center, Diesel, but Jackson Hayes doesn't score the basketball, plain and simple. He doesn't know how to. He's not that guy. So
yeah, they took Anthony Davis, they sent him away, and then they can't get one guy that can do everything Anthony Davis could do. That's going to have to be an off season. That's the number one thing in the off season that team will have to do. They'll have to figure out how to address that and get a guy with some size that can score. They won the championship in 2020 in the bubble with Dwight Howard. He wasn't a great scorer by any means, but he was a little bit better of a scorer than Jackson Hayes. The OG Tolo JB on YouTube says, boy, the Thunder are looking like world beaters. Yeah, they are. Diesel mentioned they won last night 118-99. They may very well sweep Memphis. They may. Memphis might get a game, but I don't think so. Oklahoma City, they look good. But then again, JB, 2 weeks ago, the Lakers beat the Thunder by 40. So, again, I know it's late in the season. They may not have been at full strength, but I love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. JD says they're good, playing the only team in the West who had zero chance to make the finals, talking about Memphis, literally the other 7 teams. Yeah, the West is loaded. That's one thing, Diesel, about it before we run. The West, I just told you a minute ago, I think the East is the Boston Celtics to win or to lose. But the West, man, I mean, you're talking about the Thunder, really good. Minnesota's not bad. They have Anthony Edwards. The Lakers are good.
And then you talk about the Warriors and the Rockets. It's going to be a deep Western Conference playoffs. And the Nuggets and the Clippers. Don't forget about them. Two really good teams. Nuggets have just won a championship in the last couple of years. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Some games to let everybody know the schedule for tonight. 7 o'clock, Magic Celtics. Boston leads 1-0 in that series. 7:30, you got Heat Cavaliers. And then at 9:30, you got Warriors Rockets. That's another thing I wish they would do, Cole, is stagger all three of these games equally. Get us to halftime in the first game, then start the second game, get us to halftime in that game, then start the third game.
You've got to have YouTube TV for that, right? You've got to have YouTube TV for these NBA playoffs to get them all on the same channel. We're going to give you a Braves update a little bit later in the show as well, what happened to them today. But coming up next, it's time to look at a cheat sheet, Diesel. I don't know if you ever used cheat sheets. Say that 10 times fast. Cheat sheets in high school. They called
them Cliff's Notes.
Okay, that's true. In high school or college. God, wouldn't it have been nice if we had AI when we were in college? Are you kidding me?
Well, now they got AI detecting technology, so they can read the paper, they can analyze the paper,
and find out,
figure out if AI wrote the paper.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. We'll get to the phone lines as well on the other side. It is the Fan Upstate. Little NFL draft conversation coming your way as, boy, that got here quick, didn't it? The NFL draft tomorrow. We'll look at a little NFL draft cheat sheet and get your thoughts on that. But before we do, let's go back to the phone lines where Kev wants to weigh in at 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-326-3663. What's up, Kev?
What's up, fellas?
How are you?
Hey, Kev.
Chilling, man. Hey, man, let's take it back a few minutes.
Okay.
First of all, I did not know you guys was Living Much Brothers with me. We can roll out any day and go get Living Much
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm telling you right, but I tell you, now you give it to me with some grits, eggs, and cheese and a biscuit. Now I'm telling you,
That's the way I like it. I've never had a liver mush sandwich.
I've never crumbled it and put in grits before, but I want to now.
It's good, isn't it? It's good, Diesel.
It's something serious. Now, all the time you make a sandwich with it, like, what do you eat with it if you eat a sandwich? Like, unless you just don't got to that age in life where Lay's plain go with everything. So, but other than that, I don't know a chip to go with. I just bust a sandwich down and go on about the business. But I really like it for breakfast. You get it for breakfast, that's the best way to do it.
Me too, man.
But, hey, man, these Lakers, man, I love my boys. We look good at times, but I tell you what, we got to find some consistent offensive power. And that's the thing. LeBron, if he want to be that active moving around on defense, and we playing good defense, getting rebounds, but don't expect him to score another 35, 40. If he scores 40, he's not going to get it to you on defense like that all night long. So we got to pick it up from them guys from the bench. Got to stay more consistent. You can't be going home in the playoffs with 1 point, 2 points, and stuff like that coming out the bench. You got to go get your time. Your time comes, I need you to go get it. But other than that, I don't see us making no long run either, man. We may get out this round because Minnesota just ain't gonna play no defense. That's just what they're not gonna do. So we may get out of this round, but I tell you what, the rest of these after this first round, it's on after that, man.
How's it going, man?
Do you agree with me that they're good?
Chad, nice to meet you. We're in second right now.
Kevin, it would just take something catastrophic, out of this world almost, in terms of this team stepping up in a way where they have more offensive firepower, even the bench, that the guys aren't doing it. You agree with me that you think they're good, you just don't think they're going to make that deep of a run.
No, I can in a way just because when we got it started, we was beating people.
That's right.
By 20.
Like the Thunder, you know?
Right, yeah, we was jumping on people. So, but we got to be able to have those nights consistently. Yeah. Like Austin Reeves, he can't score 16. Right. I need him to be 25 plus every night when he hits the floor.
Yeah, and that's tough, right? I mean, that's tough to ask that consistently, is my point.
Yeah, and Kev, they're not playing deep off the bench. You know, they only played 4 guys off the bench against Minnesota last night before last. Yeah. You know, and Jared Vanderbilt, no points. Jordan Goodwin, no points. They don't have anybody coming off the bench to score.
Mm-mm. And for Minnesota, if Minnesota wins the series, right? You know who I would pick to be the ace out there in the hole that really gets them over the edge.
Who's that to get Los Angeles? Oh, Kyle, I don't know, man. He did his first stint in Los Angeles didn't work out. I'm not down on the guy, but
he mad that he's not in LA.
Yeah.
So you got okay, now every time I play LA, I'm giving him everything. Now he could go out and play Atlanta. Let's just say if the regular season was in, play Atlanta and don't do nothing. You'd be like, okay, that's why we traded. But every time he play that purple and gold, he is looking to go get his ball off.
But what about Dalton Knecht? I mean, do you not think JJ Redick has a game plan to get him in the game? He didn't even get in the game last night.
That's on JJ because Dalton Knecht can play.
He can.
He can flat out play. So we could have a running offense. Well, bring it. Let's say LeBron go out. Now Luka's still going for his. But let Cal come in. I'm not Cal, but let Knecht come in and go for his. So now you got a six man that can come in. They got to be worried about him now. There's nobody worried about nobody coming off our bench right now.
Well, I would say this. Last thing I'll say to you, and then I'll shut up, Kev. I would like to see a little bit smaller of a lineup. I know you have to have a rim defender and Jackson Hayes, but make it smaller and let Kuzma be out there and be with Austin Reeves on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, I tell you what, we may need to do something like this. Stay small ball. Yeah. If we stay consistent with it, we'll make people play the ball that we want them to play instead of coming in and we got to fight through these big men that they got. Hazy ain't
He
about
sucks.
112 pounds.
And he sucks.
Bro, yeah, man. Like, can you? Let's say there's a free agent right now that's sitting at home. Can we pick him up?
No.
Or you once a player, so you can't pick up nobody else.
You can, but there's somebody out there.
Listen, man. Boogie Cousins is still putting shots.
Oh my God. He's 94.
I don't care. Right now, like, he can get in your way, he can stay strong, and he can just do what we need him to do. Or just go get Dwight Howard. Stop playing.
Didn't he move to like Bangladesh or something?
He probably did, because he got a lot on top of his head right now. That's I mean, I know he just went to the Hall of Fame and got inducted, all that good stuff, but you got a lot going on, man. So and now he's probably blackballed because of the situation.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Kev. Always appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Kev.
Good stuff on the stream as well, Diesel. I missed a couple of those, but let's see.
Yeah, JD says just go ahead and re-sign Dwight Howard.
Yeah, he agrees with Kev there, and I agree with T-Swizzle. Like why is he on the floor? He's not good offensively. I know he's a rim guy, but we'll jump back into the NBA conversation in the 6 o'clock segment. Diesel, the NBA or the NFL draft tomorrow. It is going to be the Tennessee Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, and Jaguars with the top 5 selections. We do know that we've been told that Cam Ward in Tennessee looks like that it might be a marriage to come tomorrow night. But there are only 8 million mock drafts out there right now. The draft class, we know, not the strongest, especially at the quarterback position. Where's your excitement level and the Tolos on a scale of 1 to 10 for tomorrow? Or maybe not excitement level, but intrigued level in terms of what could happen tomorrow night.
Intrigue level, probably about a 5, just considering that it feels like the first couple of picks are scripted, knowing that there's not that many elite game changers in this draft this year. It doesn't feel like we're going to see very many trades. We're not going to see that, kind of horse trading before this thing happens. We spent some time the day before yesterday talking about whether or not the Carolina Panthers could, should, and would trade back out of the 8 spot. There's not a lot of teams who are going to be willing to trade up, right, to go and chase somebody because this draft is not super deep. There's just a handful of guys that the Carolina Panthers could take at number 8 that may still be available to them if they were to trade back. I've heard Mike Kay from the Charlotte Observer talking about maybe Dallas, maybe Miami interested in trading up with the Carolina Panthers to get to that 8 spot. I think Dallas is 12 and the Dolphins are 13, or maybe it's 11 and 12. Either way, they're not going to be moving up to gain a lot of ground. The question is who is up there that is just so good that they have to move to go and get. Depending on how you feel about Jalen Walker, people are now kind of comparing him to a tweener. He's somewhere in between an edge guy and a linebacker. How could the Carolina Panthers use him there? The Panthers, if they're in love with Jalen Walker and they go get him there at number 8, they may be doing some teams behind them a favor by leaving a handful of those elite edge rushers out there on the board. I know a lot of people are really looking at Donovan Izaruka out of Boston College as one of those guys that has a chance to really be elite.
Also want to mention Tolo's coming up at 4 o'clock. We ask you who your NFL team is, and we find the biggest needs for that team going into tomorrow's draft. So stay tuned for that. Turn it on. Leave it on. Diesel, what's really interesting? We've spent so much time talking about this quarterback class, and we know that it's not the strongest. It may be pretty weak when you stack this class up against other classes. However, I saw a bold prediction today that this is bold, that only one quarterback would go in the first round of the NFL draft. I don't know that will happen. That may be a little bold, but couldn't you see maybe 2, 3? I think Cam Ward's going to go 1.
When did hallucinogenics get legalized everywhere?
I know.
What are we talking about here?
I know. It would be wild, but Shedeur Sanders is going to go in the first round, right? Right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
We think? Is he? I mean,
God.
Wouldn't
Could you
that
imagine
be
the
wild?
hit to Deion's ego if Shedeur falls outside of the first round? They just retired his jersey.
It doesn't hold a candle to last year's class. I get that. The Browns, the Giants, and the Saints all have a long staring contest in terms of the backup, right? And accordingly, Cam Ward, like I said, Diesel, I think he'll hear his name called in the very first round. There are players that are intriguing outside of the quarterback class, though, like Ashton Jeanty. We talked a lot about him during the season. But, man, after the season has ended, after the college football season ended, we really haven't talked as much about Ashton Jeanty as we thought we would. So I think outside of the quarterback conversation, maybe the fact I don't think he'll be like an Ezekiel Elliott out of Ohio State, Diesel, in 2015. But I do think, for me, my intrigue level, I'm with you, 5 or 6, maybe 6.5. Outside of quarterback, though, Ashton Jeanty is up there when it comes to what's grabbing my attention. Also, Travis Hunter's right there in that conversation, right, in terms of not only where he'll go, but what their plan is for Travis Hunter. Can he do what only a few people in the history of NFL football have done and play both ways?
And the one thing that just scares me most about Ashton Jeanty is that we all know that he is extremely talented, but he did it in the Mountain West. He didn't do it with a ton of opportunities to see him do it against guys that are going to go into the NFL one day, against Pac-12 and power conference teams. We just didn't see that very often out of him. In the limited opportunities that he had, he performed well, but could he do it week in and week out? The closest approximation we had, we didn't get very many opportunities to see him do it. That said, if I'm an NFL GM, I'm not passing on Ashton Jeanty.
Sure.
I think he has the skill set to develop into that guy in the right system that's going to feature the running back heavily.
Diesel, here are a few notables for tomorrow night. The Titans franchise has the number 1 pick for the 3rd time in the common draft era since 1967, after previously selecting defensive end John Matzak in 1973, Hall of Fame running back Earl Campbell in 78 is the Oilers. Also notable for tomorrow night, Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter, who we just talked about, played 1,481 total snaps last season, 297 more than any other FBS player. Hear that again. Travis Hunter last year played 297 more snaps than any other FBS player. Hunter was the only player in at least the past 45 years with 500 receiving yards and 4 interceptions in a season. Also notable about Abdul Carter, edge rusher Abdul Carter was an All-American, could be the first Penn State defensive player selected in the top 10 since defensive end Courtney Brown and linebacker LeVar Arrington went 1st and 2nd overall back in 2000. And last one for you, Shedeur Sanders' father, Dion, was the number 5 pick in 1989. If Shedeur goes in the top 10, the Sanders family would join the Mannings, Archie, Peyton, and Eli, and the Matthews, Bruce and Jake, as the only father-son combinations to both be picked in the top 10 in the common draft era. How about that?
I tell you what, Cole, I am so excited to be done with all of the speculation, with all of the, you got to change it up every time you talk about the NFL draft. Otherwise, you're just repeating yourself over and over again. You can speculate, you can predict, but you just don't know what's going to happen until that first team takes that wild card pick and blows everything up, right? It's basically we're leading all the way up to this draft, and we're sure about maybe picks 1 and 2, maybe number 3. Outside of that,
I don't know.
It's a crapshoot. You just don't know.
How about this? One more for you. Diesel, there have been at least 3 quarterbacks selected in the first round in 8 of the past 9 drafts. There might not, will there be 3 this year? Maybe. I think that's the intriguing storyline right there. Could we be looking at one of the first drafts in a very long time where there weren't 3? I think there will be 2. If I set the over-under right now at 2.5, quarterback selected in the first round, would you go over or under on that?
I'm
You got
probably,
Cam.
I'm probably going under
Ooh.
because I don't think Jackson Dart's going in the first round. I mean, maybe somebody sneaks up and takes him in the high 20s up to 32, but I doubt it. I mean, that's a reach, even though I think he's probably ultimately going to be the best quarterback in this draft. That's
crazy wild that we're talking about that, right? And the fact that Shedeur, some people have him mocked at 21. So if that's the case, there's not going to be – I mean, Jackson Dart, in my mind, to your point, Diesel, I think Jackson Dart, if he goes in the first round, it'll be late first round, 25, 26, 27, somewhere right in there.
Which is not a bad spot to be in.
No.
The problem is, you may not be able to step into that starter role at any point, right? You may be there learning behind a great quarterback. I mean, we saw that happen with Spencer Rattler. I know he wasn't a first-round pick, but, I would like to see Spencer Rattler get an opportunity, a legitimate shot in New Orleans, but there's other people who are mocking New Orleans to maybe move up and take a QB.
True. We shall see.
When we come back, Cole, this is wild stuff. NFL teams are starting to see the degradation of talent coming out of college football. What one Super Bowl winning coach had to say about how the portal in college is hurting players once they get to the league. Audio of it and our reaction next.
Here to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Tom Brady told us months ago, Cole, that the quarterback position and the way NFL coaches are having to coach it is getting dumber, right? They're having to dumb the systems down for these quarterbacks who are not prepared to come out and contribute immediately in the NFL, that it's a problem. And we've had conversations with various draft experts, with coaches, with people in the know in the NFL. And it seems to me, Cole, that not only is it the quarterback position, but it's basically all position groups, that these guys are just not ready to come in and be immediate starters, even if teams are trying to force them into being immediate starters. I don't know, Cole, if it gets if any name carries as much weight as Tom Coughlin, who won multiple Super Bowls with the Giants. He is now weighing in on what the transfer portal is doing to college athletes and how they are just not ready to compete in the NFL. Here's Tom.
Remember, in days gone by, the ultimate was professional football. To be in a position to be drafted, or in the case of many, would be as a free agent, make a professional football team and have that as your goal. But to know how to get to that goal by going to a college where you know you've got 4 years, you've got to battle adversity, you've got to fight yourself through some difficult times. You know, other coach doesn't like me. I'll tell you what, play well, the coach will like you a lot. You know, these the worst thing that ever happened in the collegiate game is this business about, you know, the portal and transferring and all that crap. What are we teaching our young people?
What are we teaching our young people? That, you know, if you don't like your situation, just run off, go somewhere else. I can fix this if I just move across the country and start playing football with a coach that I don't know, with a bunch of players that I don't know. That'll surely fix the deficiencies in my game.
I want to say this, and the preface, Diesel, is I don't have any children. I'm not a parent. However, Tom's right. Tom Coughlin, not Tom in Somerville. Parents have taken, in my mind, a little bit of a free ride over the last 15, 20, 25 years with their student athlete. And I think, Diesel, it's time to come out and say it. Parents are the problem behind all of this. Bad parenting is the problem, and I may upset somebody, but it's okay. My opinion, bad parenting has allowed this at the high school level. That trickles into college. That trickles into pro. It all trickles up. It all trickles down. At any level of football, I think the parents have really, Diesel, become the scapegoat in a lot of ways. It's time we start placing the blame on them for allowing this to happen and not teaching student athletes at a young age. You're going to stay where you are and make the grass where you are greener instead of just doing what's easy and jumping ship.
There's a lot of parental entitlement that's working its way into the kids. Now the kids are entitled. Now they go somewhere. They don't like the situation. They don't like the money that they're getting. They don't like their playing time. They don't like the locker room, and they say, peace, I'm out of here. Tom Coughlin continues here in the second part of this clip.
Every time you don't like something, you run away from it. What is that all about?
I like that.
What does that have to do with education? How about the understanding you're going to need your degree? I don't care if it's 10 years down the road or whatever. You're going to need to be in some circumstances where you had to use brain power to get to the next level. I think we've made some huge mistakes. You know, they talk about the genie doesn't go back in the bottle. Let me tell you guys, if we don't solve this portal business, this transfer stuff, so that people, you know, the tradition of college football again, the love of the game, the idea that when you make that decision, you're there for a 4-year period, or there's a penalty. You want to go? Yeah, go ahead and go. But you're going to have to sit out for a year, and the clock is going to be running on you. So I am upset about all of these things. And matter of fact, I told Nick Saban and Archie Manning, those two need to get together and solve college football somehow.
I like it. I like it a lot. I really do.
I mean, I would put Tom Coughlin if there was if I could wave my magic wand and insert some sort of a tribunal that runs college football, I would want Tom Coughlin or some other high-level NFL coach who's won a lot. I would want them in that room as well, because they also need to steward these players in the best possible way that they can to the NFL. I mean, we're talking now about, guys petitioning for the 5th or even 6th years of eligibility. That's not good for the NFL. Having players who are not ready to come out and play is not good for the NFL. So you need somebody who loves and respects college football, but comes from an NFL background, who can also provide that kind of voice.
I just love what he said, man. I think he hit the nail on the head. And Diesel, look, ultimately there are a lot of issues when it comes to the NCAA. There always have been. But it's not just – I do want to say this. This is not an NCAA issue. This is a society issue. This is a problem across the board in every level, in every state, in this wonderful country that we live. It is not just an NCAA issue. This has to be corrected in the homes. I mean, Where else? Tell me where else this is corrected. It starts in the homes of the kids who are being raised to play these sports, and helping them understand exactly what Tom Coughlin just said. That's where it starts. It starts in the living rooms.
I'm disappointed. I understand why they say what they say. I'm always disappointed when I hear a coach say in an interview, well, I can't hold you here, just go, right? That is allowing the player to just give up and go somewhere else. I would love them to say, I did everything I possibly could do to convince this guy to stay. I didn't promise him a single thing, but I did everything I could do to convince him to stay, because it would be better for him as a person to go through that. Keith and TR says that's why we Gamecock fans love the Norris Sellers so much. He could have gone anywhere after last season, but chose to stay dedicated to South Carolina.
Oh my God.
Keith, I hope.
Money talks.
He stays
Keith.
dedicated to South Carolina. He stayed at South Carolina this year. There's nothing that says that he may not jump ship and go somewhere else the following year. And again, I hope that he doesn't, because players like that, they're becoming fewer and farther between. Those are the kind of players that you put up statues of on campus, because they showed their loyalty, even with the opportunity to go somewhere and make a lot more money.
Did he stay because he's loyal, or did he stay because $2.4 million is a nice amount of money? I don't know. I'm just asking. Texter says 20 years from now, we'll be talking about college football, and college football used to be special, just like the Olympics before it turned pro. Texter says, now we're preaching. Come on, Cole, you said it. It's just the truth, Texter. It's the truth, and you know what? It needs a fixin', as they say. Coming up next, we ask you to send us your NFL team. If you want to even get brownie points, bonus points, what are your needs? What are the needs of your team in the NFL draft? We'll talk about that, and we'll start with the Carolina Panthers. That's next.
Wire to wire.
With Diesel and Culver.
On the Fan Upstate.
We did this about a year ago, but you know what? In a year, we have had a lot of new Tolos join Tolo Nation. Well, first of all, if you just got in your car, you're headed home from work on this today's Wednesday, right? Took me a minute there, Diesel. Took me a minute.
All it took was one day to throw us off.
I was like, wait a minute, today's Wednesday. If you're headed home from work on this Wednesday, or maybe you're headed to work. I know we have a lot of Tolos who are third shifters as well, and you don't know what Tolo is. Well, now is a good time for you to learn. Tolo stands for Turn On, Leave On. That's what we ask you to do every single day right here on this station. Turn it on, leave it on. And if you do, you're a Tolo. I saw Tolos last night, Diesel, at the Hub City Spartanburgers game. And it was one of our – I'll give a funny story real quick before we dive into the NFL here. One of the Tolos that saw me last night works for the Spartanburgers. And he said, hey, Cole, did you bring Coach Comer the Ike's Burger that you promised him? And I said, no, look, maybe Thursday when I'm out there. But our Tolos, don't forget, man, appreciate all of you Tolos. We need your interaction in this segment. We won't have as much at 5 o'clock because we'll be joined by Melissa for Melissa's Moment. However, right now, we want to hear from you. The phone line is the same number as the text line. If you haven't saved it in your phone, you need to do so right now. It's 844-FAN-PHONE. That's FANFONE. That translates to 844-326-3663. What or who is your NFL team? Very simple. I have every team. All 32 teams and their needs going into tomorrow's draft. So we've already got a few on the stream in terms of the Tolos sending in their NFL team. If you want to get extra credits, send your name. That way we know Tolo so-and-so is a Chargers fan, like Madcraft, who says he's anti-Tolo, but that's not true. So let's get that started right now.
Now doth protest too much, man.
Yeah, really. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663. Who is your NFL team? Sign your text. That way we know who you are. Let's start, Diesel, though, with a team that I would say, talk about more than anybody else, being the Carolina Panthers. We've spent a lot of time talking about them. But when you look at what they need, we all know that Bryce Young does need some shiny new toys, right? However, I don't believe anyone believes the Panthers can afford to give him those shiny new toys in the very first round. Edge rusher, safety, cornerback, not quarterback, cornerback, wide receiver, defensive line. In that order, those are the biggest needs for Carolina. Any issue with what I just said, Diesel, edge, quarterback, and receiver, and defensive line. They've got to have an edge rush to get some pressure on the quarterback first round.
They absolutely do. They've got to find a way to stop forcing Bryce Young into having to score 3-4 touchdowns a game to go get wins. I mean, unless something crazy happens in Bryce Young's development this past offseason going into this year or next year and the year afterwards, he's unlikely to be the kind of quarterback that will go out there and score you 40 points a game. He's probably good for about 21, 24, 28 tops a game. So if they can get themselves into a position where they got a defense that's not forcing him to go out and score 4 touchdowns in a single game, Al Bundy, then I think they'll put him in a position to win. I mean, you look at the scores that they gave up last year. It's just absurd. 47 to the Saints, 26 to the Chargers, 22 to the Raiders, 34, 36, 38, 40, 28, 30, 26, 30, 36, 48. They're giving up so many points. And not a lot of NFL quarterbacks are going to be able to go out there and score you that many points week in and week out.
No, you're right. Absolutely. 100%. Dead on. A couple of texts to get to already. If you just tuned in, we're asking who your NFL team is. We're going to go over their needs. We all agree that the Carolina Panthers have got to get an edge guy. Cheesehead Corey on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line says, hate to change the subject, but why doesn't the Clemson baseball team field a warning track? Oh, why doesn't their field have a warning track? Cheesehead Corey. We'll bank that question. It's a good question. We'll bank it, and we'll ask maybe Grayson Mann next time we have him on. That's a good question. So let us know, Tolos, if you just tuned in, who your NFL team is. Madcraft, he goes with 3 bolts, as we all know. He is our resident Chargers fan. If you are also a Chargers fan out there listening in the upstate, let us know on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line. Diesel, interesting Chargers team that was last year. You know, they need some jolts, to say the least, right? They need some jolts of some bolts. They used to have a lot of offensive firepower. However, you look at this team now, and I think offense is their biggest need. They need a tight end. They also need wide receivers to complement their quarterback. The signings of Najee Harris and Mike Williams are not enough. The defense, they're okay. Madcraft, tell me if this is an okay explanation, but they've got to get some more firepower for Justin Herbert because Mike Williams and Najee Harris just aren't those guys anymore. They've got to get some electricity into this offense.
Yeah, they got 10 picks available to them this year, so a lot of guys they're going to be able to bring onto this roster, see what shakes out. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't go wide receiver in the first round to get Justin Herbert another weapon to throw to. Tight ends, especially if you can find somebody who's really good in both pass blocking and in receiving. Running back is going to be a big need for them as well. So, get Justin Herbert some pieces, let him cook, see what they can do.
Madcraft says jolts of some volts for the bolts is chef material, Cole. I'm stealing that. Well, you can steal it, but you better give us credit for it because you said you keep receipts, remember? So you better give some credit for that one. Giants fan 21 on the YouTube stream. Do we have any idea who his team is? I mean, can we poll the audience here? The New York Giants, boy, are they an interesting story right now heading into the draft, Diesel. The Giants aren't good. The Giants have the number 3 pick, and then do they have any later picks? I'm looking now. I thought for whatever reason they might have had 2. No, they just have 1 pick. They haven't made any trades yet. I did see where they might trade to try to get one more first-rounder. But the Giants with the 3rd pick, I mean, is there any other need? Let's just go right to the conversation here of quarterback. I mean, there is no other need bigger for the New York Giants, right? I mean, they have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Diesel, we went a minute ago, we talked about storylines and how intrigued we were. This one right here, to me, is one of the most intriguing storylines of the entire draft.
Yeah, but if you're not sold on just how good this quarterback class is, and the real question is if you're not sold on Shedeur Sanders, do you not kick the can on quarterback down the road just a little bit farther?
Maybe.
You know, get into next year where hopefully it'll be a stronger quarterback class than we've had. I mean, if I'm the Giants, I'm not really in love with Shedeur. And now if something crazy happens, and I don't think it will, and the Titans say, you know what, we don't want Cam Ward after all, then of course you got to take Cam Ward. But they're not going to do that. They're going to take Cam Ward, and so now you're going to be left with Shedeur, or you're going to be left with Jackson Dart, who's probably not even a first-rounder this year, and which will be a gigantic reach to go and take a guy like Jackson Dart, even though I think he's got a lot of upside potential. So I think you stick with the veterans, you hold off for another year, you build so that whoever you got coming in 2026 maybe can hit the ground running.
I don't know, man. Like, I know the Titans and the Browns, Diesel have 1 and 2, but to me, this Giants quarterback, this is the weirdest story. You have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. I don't know. I don't even
the most entertaining quarterback room in the NFL.
I have no idea what you do here. If you add a 3rd, We'll see. That'll be a lot of fun. To the Hub City Spartanburgers text line we go. Chris Arnett, he says the Bears are his team. The Bears, Diesel, have the 10th overall pick, a team that was 5-12 a season ago. The Bears' moves in free agency did open the door to the entire board of this NFL draft, but you've got to figure out some issues with Braxton Jones, left tackle, contract year, DeAndre Swift. You got to have somebody back there in the backfield with him. I would say their biggest need probably is defensive line, maybe offensive line as well. Look, I know in the first round, Diesel, picking an offensive lineman is not sexy. But the Bears have to beef up this interior. They have to get their quarterback some protection. And while it may not be sexy, it does pay dividends.
But you either have to get an elite pass blocking running back to keep him clean, or you got to go left tackle and find somebody who can keep Caleb Williams on his feet, right, and keep him from having to scramble all the time. That's why you go offensive tackle in the first round. The best one coming out of college football, you can get that guy, and maybe he's not going to be the guy this year. You probably see a lot of playing time, but certainly going into the year after that, he could round into being a really good offensive tackle for you. I've seen rumors, Cole, and everybody's mock draft is full of rumors. They may just be making this stuff up, but there have been rumors that the Bears are potentially interested in doing a trade with the Carolina Panthers, moving up. We talked about that on Monday. Okay, the Bears may want to move up to number 8, and at which point do they take the guy that Carolina wanted, because the Bears also need edge.
Yeah, I agree with you there. What they do will be intriguing. You might see some movement. Falcon Jeremy says the Falcons and the Cowgirls suck, is what Falcon Jeremy says. The 8-9 Atlanta Falcons, who have the number 15 overall pick, Diesel, they need an edge. They need some beef in the interior of that defensive line. They also need some help on the offensive line as well. Listen to this. The pass rush has not been good in Atlanta. Every other team has at least 198 sacks since 2019, while the Falcons have 169 in that span and rank last in quarterback pressure rate over that same stretch. So there's no secret. They're in the same boat, I think, as the Panthers, which makes it interesting because you just brought them up in terms of maybe a trade. I think both of those franchises are in the same boat of needing a pass rush guy very badly.
Yeah, I think edge may be this year's hottest fashion accessory.
Could be.
Abdul Carter is projected to go in the top 5. You got James Pierce out of Tennessee. You got Michael Williams out of Georgia, Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, Donovan Izaruka from Boston College, who is moving up a lot of people's boards. It depends on what you want your pass rusher to do, right? Do you want him to be aggressive, pin his ears back, and bum rush the quarterback in every single play? Yep. Or do you want him to be able to kind of do both things and be in sort of a hybrid role? That's what a lot of people are now starting to look at Jalen Walker as that kind of guy, who's more of a hybrid guy. And that's why some people are saying he might not be the right fit for the Carolina Panthers in a defense that wants guys who are long with big arms, long arms that can get hands up and bat balls down and get to the quarterback. I think the edge is going to be this year's big position group that goes quickly. I'm not sold on Mike Green from Marshall. He's he's a guy that, he was really good against Sunbelt level competition, but it's not against guys that he's going to be, playing against in the NFL. I wouldn't look at him. He's currently listed as the number 2 edge guy, the number 11 overall prospect. But, man, I don't think I'd touch him with a 10-foot pole in the first round. 3
more to get to on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line. Michael in Simpsonville says the Bengals 9-8. They have the 17th pick overall. Diesel, you know what? This could be a very defense-heavy draft by the Bengals. They made large investments during the offseason to keep that offense intact, right? Obviously, Trey Hendrickson was a big piece. Defense, they made him a priority. They've got to get the second and third levels of that defense solidified. I think safety. I think linebacker. Obviously, edge is in there. But this Bengals team offensively, even though they weren't good last year, they've got all the talent in the world offensively. So, I don't know. This one's a tough one.
Yeah, this is defense all day. I mean, I wouldn't be sniffing an offensive player until the third round. I don't know how many where their picks are going to come. They only have 6 picks in the draft this year. They don't have a lot of draft capital, so it is can't miss right now with the positions that you really need. You can't get cute and go best player available, even if there's a pretty good wide receiver available to you in the second or the third round. Don't get distracted by the jangling keys. Stay on mission. Go get your needs best player at your needs.
On the Hub City Spartanburgers text line at 844-FAN-PHONE, FANFONE, the Leprechaun of Lyman weighs in, and he says, I have a thing for the green and the gold. Go, Pack, go. Well, they had a good year last year, Leprechaun, 11-6. They're at 23 in the draft. It doesn't look like Jair Alexander is long-term for the Packers, which brings cornerback to the forefront in my mind. Obviously, they need some depth at receiver. Christian Watson's kind of on the verge of being an injury-prone receiver. Matt LaFleur's made it clear that pass rush is a huge issue for the Packers, but I don't know. I think receiver and cornerback are right there neck and neck when it comes to Green Bay. They were really good, but in order to make a deeper playoff run, I think they have to really solidify that defense and as well and add some depth at the receiver room. Diesel, 2 more, but before we do, I forgot to ask you about the Tolo that just stopped by, Ingles.
Yeah, shout out to Tolo Chad, who came by. He stopped by, Cole, right as we were coming back into that 3:20 segment. And I said, hey, we just got in the segment. Give me a few minutes. He stuck around for like 15 minutes.
How about that?
To chat for a couple minutes. South Carolina Gamecock fan. He was asking me about whether I thought Shane Beamer is a long-termer, a lifer at South Carolina, or whether I thought another team could hire Moy. I don't think there's a chance that anybody hires Moy. Number one, he's already making a ton of money. Number two, Shane Beamer seems like the ultimate loyalty kind of guy. So I don't see Shane Beamer leaving South Carolina for anyone.
Shout out to Tolo Chad. How about that?
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Chad. Hate that I couldn't see you, but you probably won in that one. You didn't have to see me today. Palmetto Buckeye says, I'm a Browns fan. The Browns need everything. They're in a mess. I mean, it's the Browns, right? I mean, we can't spend much time talking about the Cleveland Browns, who, I mean, let's be honest, they're a disaster in terms of their quarterback situation. The offensive line stinks. Kenny Pickett. What? Back up? I mean, yeah. I don't know, man. You really, in my mind, the best situation here is to drop a bomb and just start over, start fresh.
Doesn't it feel like, Cleveland is constantly catching the bad end of the blitz, though? If you say drop a bomb and start over, man, that whole place is just an impact crater. How can they start over more times?
The bomb won't go off. I mean, that's Cleveland. God. So, yeah, I hate that for you, Palmetto Buckeyes fan. Last one before we run to a break. Eric Hines, I'll read it, even though he says, what's the trend today? Just taking shots at the Cowboys. He said the Cowboys suck. That's like the second or third texter who's let me know of that. I love you guys, too. He says EAGLES. I'm not going to read that with much enthusiasm.
EGLSES.
The mayor. Well, that's still so good, man. Look, it couldn't get any better right now, right? Life could not get any better for the Philadelphia Eagles, figuring out the pieces of the puzzle, figuring out how to, by the way, the Philadelphia Eagles probably have the best GM in all of NFL football right now. They were able to put pressure on the quarterback in Mahomes, Diesel in the Super Bowl. They just don't look. Now, they did lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They did lose Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. Huge pieces, right? Those two, Milton and Sweat, had remarkable Super Bowls, but you still have Mitchell. You still have Cooper DeJean. You still have a ton of pieces I think safety and corner may be where the Eagles go late in the first round. But again, when you have as many good players as the Eagles had, you are going to lose a few of them.
Yeah, that's the great equalizer there, Cole, is you can't just keep stacking talent because talent wants to get paid, and eventually they all get to a point where you can't afford to pay everybody.
That's right.
So some of them go off to other teams. Some of them eventually go off to retirement. They're going to have to find a way to replace A.J. Brown eventually. So why not do it now, right? Why not find that great wide receiver, find somebody young, put him in the slot, make him figure things out from that side. I know that a lot of people really like Emeka Egbuka to the Eagles for that because, you can get him trained up in that position early as a young guy. Get him in there now, be set for the future, figure out edge in the second round. That's what I've –
Yeah, I'm with you.
Cole, right here in my hands, I've got 4 more Ingles gift cards left. The first 4 Tolos, the next 4 Tolos that come by, going to get one of these Ingles gift cards. We are at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont, right inside the front door to the right in the Corner Cafe. You can't miss it. Big blue stand-up banner behind me. Come on by and grab one of these for yourself. Knock a couple of bucks off of what you are going to purchase today at Ingles Markets. When we come back, we'll have a chance to talk with Nate Garner, the head coach of NGU Trailblazers. He's going to preview the North Greenville spring game on Saturday. Excited to talk about another head football coach who gets it, who understands that serving the fans in spring game is what it's all about in the era of eliminating spring games because it's the trendy thing to do. Our next guest, Nate Garner, head coach of the North Greenville Trailblazers. They have their spring game coming up this Saturday, and he joins the show. Nate, appreciate your time. Great to get a chance to connect with you and talk to you. Look, every team, every program, every coach wants to put their own twist on spring games. Sometimes the format doesn't make any sense anymore. But what do you have cooked up for your spring game on Saturday?
Man, I'm just going to put my offense and defense out there and I kind of let everyone see what they're doing. Not going to do a whole lot of special teams right now. We're focused on getting the offense and defense right. I got a great special teams coordinator, put some stuff together, and we'll have that ready by this fall. But, yeah, it's going to be mainly offense versus defense, ones versus twos, twos, ones, 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 twos, twos. So let everyone get out there, get a shot to compete, and honestly go out there and showcase their talent and their abilities.
Coach, how much of a recruiting pitch is this weekend when you talk about you guys, North Greenville football, hosting the spring game in your stadium on Saturday at 1 o'clock? Do you invite recruits to this game? I mean, I'm sure that, guys that you guys are looking at might be in attendance on Saturday.
Oh, definitely. There'll be quite a few guys. I know there's already been a bunch of high school kids reaching out, wanting to come out to the game. Hey, all the high school kids in the area are welcome out. We want to see them, want them to sign up for our forum that we're going to have out there, and that way we can keep track of them, make sure we're paying attention to those class of 2026 kids for the fall. And then I'm going to have a few transfers then and let them see what we're all about.
Head coach of the NGU Trailblazers, Nate Garner, joining us here on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Now, I touched on it there in the opening question. The conversation around a lot of college football this year has been asking whether or not spring games still have a place. It seems like it's this year's trendy thing to do to get rid of the spring games. But let's talk about the value baked into having a spring game. In your mind, I mean, I know you've had a chance to spend time with the team. You've had spring ball, spring practices. But how is evaluating talent in a spring game different than evaluating talent in a practice? You're still playing against yourselves, right?
We're still playing against ourselves, but the situations become a little more real. There's officials out there, so they got to play a little tighter. They're not able to get away with all the stuff they can kind of get away with in practice sometimes that we don't necessarily see till we see it on tape. The other thing is we're trying to put them in stressful situations, right? We want to see how they react and how they step up and make it a very competitive environment.
I like that a lot. You do find out, Coach, about individuals when they're put in those high-pressure moments, high-pressure situations. Can you talk about from the time that we were standing at North Greenville on campus just a few months ago when you were hired, fast forward until now, April the 23rd, in your mind, when you take over a Division II college football program like North Greenville, what did you expect to have to tackle in these first few months? And also the second part of that question is what surprised you a little bit about this particular job?
It's funny you asked that. Today is exactly 100 days since I got the job. So it's been an awesome 100 days, a great learning experience. This is my first time being a head coach, and I haven't shied away from admitting that fact and telling people that I don't know everything that I don't know yet. So the biggest thing has been the learning curve of all the administrative side. So I've already got those booked for all their travel for the fall, all the bus trips already planned out. Just trying to get all the schedules and everything in line for the rest of the season. That way my staff can make plans with their family and the kids can know when they can be at home and when we want them to be here for the summer and things like that. And just trying to do all the administrative behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't realize that coaches do.
Nate, what would you say has really gone the smoothest for you in the first 100 days? You're just talking about the challenges, but what has maybe come a little easier to you than you expected it would?
Honestly, I'm a technology guy, so I like to leverage technology in any way I can. And one of the things that I've done is I've set up a system where the team can get the daily schedule every single day. It sends it out to their phone automatically. It's in the locker room, up on the TVs all over the place. So just disseminating information. That's one thing that I think has been one of the easiest things for me. And trying to get the guys to buy into me, that's the other one. Like I think playing in the NFL gives me a little bit of natural credibility just because of that. But then I get out there, I earn their trust throughout the first 100 days I've been here by being honest with them, just upfront, open, honest, and direct communication. That's one of the things that I think is lacking in this day and age. Is there's a lot of people trying to hide things, circumvent things, and work behind people's back, or just be deceptive. Like even in the recruiting process, there's a lot of staffs out there that'll lie to kids and say, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z, when there's really nothing even in motion for that. That's a plan they might want to have enacted. I told my staff, if I catch them lying, I'm going to fire them, because that's something I do not want to deal with. I don't want to deal with people who lie to kids, because once the kid gets there, they're going to expect that. And if they don't get what they were told, that's not right. You're lying to a kid. You're cheating them of an experience that they were expecting to get. And I don't want to do that.
Coach, there's a lot of conversation had nowadays about culture, right? Having that strong culture in place. You and I and Diesel have talked about it on this show a couple of months ago when you were hired. But when you talk about evolving the culture into what you, as Nate Garner, the head football coach, wants that culture to be, is that something that you feel like is achievable in 100 days, or that's something that you just think comes along with the grind of being in with the guys every single day like you talked about?
Well, I won't know if it's achievable until we get some actual on-the-field results this fall. But I feel like the kids are buying into what I'm preaching, and one of our main mantras is alpha. So it means aggressive, loyal, prepared, humble, and then armored by the word of God. And that's what we're founded on here at North Greenville, man. It's that religious background, the Baptist upbringing, and we lean heavily on that, man. And I think it's a great asset to these guys. They're out there giving us an alpha breakdown every single day. They're holding themselves to that accountability thing, and I think they're really buying into that mentality. And it's great because you think of that where we have the fox, our mascot, right? It's a pack animal. The alpha's the leader. I want them all to be leaders on the field. Go out there and attack every single thing they do every single day.
Coach Nate Garner, North Greenville Trailblazers head coach, joining us here on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Now, Coach, I did run across an actual live fox last weekend on the golf course. It's famous for stealing people's golf balls, so a mischievous streak as well with that mascot you got there. But so far in spring camp, who's really stood out to you the most? You can give me a couple guys if you want to, and what is your strategy? I don't know if they're going to listen to this show, so I don't want you to tip your hand too much. But what's your plan to test those guys, and how much testing versus building up their confidence by putting them in positions to be successful are you going to do? What's that balance?
I think adversity is really how you develop guys. I'm not going to tip my hand on who I think stood out yet. You'll figure that out this fall once the team gets a chance to vote on captain. So like right now, I don't want to name anyone. Like I could go ahead and do that, but I think that that's going to take away the team's credibility if I do that. I want those guys to be the ones that choose their leaders and the guys they're going to go to war for, man. So I don't want to tip my hand on that too much. And as far as putting them in stressful situations, like I said, that adversity, it truly is what develops that character and who you're going to be when it gets tough out there on the field, because everything's not going to go right. So you gotta know how you're going to react when the stuff doesn't go exactly how it's planned. How are you going to make that play? Hey, when the guy got in the wrong gap, can you understand the whole concept of the defense to be able to refit it when you see a guy fit it wrong? That's not where he was supposed to be, but hey, I can make up for him because he's my brother, right? So when you start playing for guys like that, like on the O-line, I talk about, I'm an O-line guy. So hey, we worst case scenario for an O-line, if you can get 5 guys pointed out, you can at least get back to the line of scrimmage, live to fight another day. So when it gets crazy out there, the defense is moving all over the place, you have no idea, hey, figure out those 5 guys who need to block. That's kind of what it is for me from an O-line perspective. Offensive-wise, hey, the receiver ran the wrong route, but hey, he fit into a hole. Hey, you might end up having to throw it to the guy who ran the wrong route, but then you need to correct him when you come off the field, right? So just things like that, understanding where the adversity strikes and how you're going to adapt when it happens.
Coach, I want to go back to something you just said in that very answer in terms of not tipping your cap when it comes to captains or the guys that are standing out. And I fully understand why you do that. Is that something you learned in the pros, or what made you because I'm sure there are a lot of coaches out there who do name captains pretty early in the process, right?
Oh, yeah. I've seen coaches that name the captains, but a lot of the places I've been and a lot of places that I've been that have had success, the team is truly the deciding factor on who the captains are. And I think that's kind of got to allow them to buy in, because if those are the guys that are leading them on the field, they have to have that choice, right? Because if I'm the guy who's picking it, like, are they really going to buy into them, right? I want them to buy into me and the way I teach, but they need to buy into their brother that they're choosing because they know who they are on and off the field all the time. I only know who they are on the field and off the field a little bit of the time. So they're around them 24/7. So they get to actually pick the guys they want to go to war for.
Talking to Nate Garner, head football coach of NGU. You talk about players leading players. Now, you played all the way up to the NFL level, so you've been in a lot of different locker rooms with a lot of different personalities from season to season. How different does it feel as a player when it's players leading players versus all of the leadership having to be siloed within the coaching staff?
Man, a player-led locker room is the only way you can build a championship. I'm going to be honest, man. Like, I know I'm going to go back to high school. I was at St. Thomas Aquinas for a couple of years. We had 2 state championships, and we instilled that culture in those players, and they truly bought into that leadership role. The whole team bought into a leadership role, but then at the end of the day, they voted on 5 guys that they wanted to be their leaders, and they bought into those guys. They led them, held them accountable in the locker room. Locker room was never dirty. Locker room was kept the right way because those guys led them every single day and set that example. And I think that's how you develop a championship mindset, by instilling those values. Like, it's the little things at the end of the day. If you can do the little things right, then I can trust you to do the big things on the field. So what you do off the field really shows me how you're going to be on the field.
Coach, what's your schedule look like in terms of recruiting? You got here 100 days ago in the upstate to lead this North Greenville football program. Obviously, you want to get your guys in over the course of the next 3 to 4 years, right? Or the next 2 to 4 years, rather. And with a portal nowadays, you can do that a whole lot quicker than you used to could. What does it look like on a day-to-day basis for you as the head guy when it comes to recruiting?
Man, for me, I'm trying to talk to every recruit we have, man. Anyone that is coming in here, like I said, all the high school guys, I told my staff this. If an offer comes from us, it's coming from my mouth to those guys. I want them to hear from me, know that I want them to be here and be a part of this program. And as far as recruiting goes and looks like for me, I had an official visit 2 days after I got here. So it was kind of a whirlwind for me with those high school kids. But we've got a good class of 25s coming in. We got just a few holes to fill. We had a couple of injuries and things like that throughout the spring. And we're going to have to fill a couple holes in the transfer portal. But we're not trying to go after 900 guys. Now, we might end up bringing a few more in just to try to help. I know you know what happened down the road from here, so try to help a few of the guys that used to play for me over there, and just try to help them out, give them a home. But other than that, we're not trying to go out and get 1 million guys and replace the whole team, man. I got a great foundation here of these players. They're bought into what we're doing. They're doing a great job, man.
Coach, you were an offensive lineman, and I've seen enough former offensive linemen turn head coaches to know that that is an intense bunch who go into that level of coaching. What is your plan? What is your, what do you want your demeanor to be on the sideline? That intense coach that really fires guys up. I mean, I've even seen coaches go as far as headbutting players who are wearing helmets. I wouldn't advise that. Just a little, tip of the cap for you on that one. But are you planning on being sort of that intensity style of head coach, or more of the cerebral guy?
Man, I live in both worlds, man. I've got a switch, right? Like I can flip the switch when I need to and get fiery, but I'm also a cerebral guy. Like I like to think and be strategic in everything that I do. And so on the sideline, yeah, I'm going to have an intensity about me. That's just is what it is. When I'm on that field, I have an intensity about me. You can ask the players now, even on practice days, I'm out there, I'm intense. I carry myself like an offensive lineman, man. Like that's who I am. I'm not going to be headbutting people. I had too many head injuries for that. So you ain't got to worry about seeing me bleeding down my nose. But hey, I took a shoulder pad to the eye the other day because I was trying to show a double team and a walkthrough for the guys. So, I'm just trying to show them I still got a little bit left in the tank, but I'm definitely going to be in both worlds. Like I'll have the cerebral part going in my head, but I'll show them an intense side of me when I need to.
Coach, you mentioned it as we let you go. We saw some news yesterday that Limestone, who you brought up just a few minutes ago, may be putting a delay on what they were expected to do a week ago, with some potential funding coming in the future, but still very uncertain. What was your reaction to a school that you just left a week ago when we saw the news that they were potentially facing that closure?
Man, I was shocked, and I was hurt for my brothers over there, man. Like those coaches, like me and Coach Koster, we played together in the league, and Coach Washington too. We played together, and I was shocked for those guys, the other staff members over there that I had coached with, and it was tough. I tried to reach out to them and help them in any way I can. I've been trying to help a lot of the players that were over there that have entered the portal, like not necessarily bringing them here. Like I'll help them go wherever they need to. That's just who I am, and I'm doing my best. I just had a couple of guys on campus here came to visit me, and listen, if this isn't the place for them, I'm going to help them find a home, because that's one thing about those kids, man. I love every single one of them, and I want them to all have a place to call home, have a place they can go finish their degrees and do whatever they can do. And as far as what's going on with school, man, I don't truly know. All I know is that they've all entered the portal, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help them.
Coach, fantastic stuff. We really appreciate you taking time to join us and talk about your program and the spring game on Saturday, and we'll talk to you soon, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all very much.
Nate Garner, the head football coach of the Trailblazers of North Greenville. Diesel, we mentioned Limestone. They put out an update yesterday after a very long meeting with the Board of Trustees. We'll get into that next.
And up.
We talked a lot about this last week, and we just mentioned it with Nate Garner, the head football coach at North Greenville. Last Wednesday, I broke the news about Limestone University potentially having to close their doors, and they told the public.
We talked about how
the board would be meeting on Tuesday, which was yesterday, the 22nd, and we all anticipated and awaited what would be happening yesterday during that board meeting, and coming from that meeting, Limestone released a press release, Diesel, where they have informed everyone out there, including the media, that after basically saying, look, we're going to have to close the college, a potential funding source has emerged that could keep Limestone open for both on-campus and online classes. It's not final, but there is cautious optimism. The Board of Trustees at Limestone is set to meet again next Tuesday for a final decision. They said it's going to be made no later than the 29th, which is next Tuesday. So apparently, from what I've heard, there is somebody out there, Diesel, that has made not a commitment, not a financial commitment, but has shown interest in helping Limestone. They initially said they needed $6 million. I was told it might have ended up being a little bit more than that. But my first reaction to that, Diesel, is look, great for Limestone. The community needs them in terms of that university being there. But I just don't know, when you've basically already shut the whole thing down, everybody's in the portal, all the athletes are in the portal. Number one, I don't know if their reputation's going to be strong enough to move forward. And number two, the brutally honest question that I asked myself, Diesel, is if this university here locally has shown so much irresponsibility over the last few years in terms of what they do with their finances and resources, who's dumb enough to give money to them? I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna call it like I see it here.
Yeah, there's gonna have to be, a rock solid plan to get them back into financial solvency and into profitability. You got to be turning a profit. You can't just be breaking even, right? You got to start rebuilding that endowment, get themselves into a stable position where this doesn't happen again 2 or 3 or 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
They got to get that fixed. And, one of the biggest ways that colleges bring in money is through tuition. And you just said it. You've just sent a huge chunk of your student body off to some other school. And, some of them may choose to stick around and continue their education depending on exactly what the future looks like for NGU. But, I mean, how many of them are going to want to do that? If they've just been gutted and shown this really unstable position, how many of them are going to say, okay, let me stick around to maybe have you do it again in a couple of years?
Yeah, that's the bad part. And again, I know you may disagree. One of you Tolos out there may disagree on my opinion, but the college, the university has not been financially responsible. For the past 5 years, Diesel, they have not been in the green. They've lost money, millions, since 2020. That is 5 years of losing significant amounts of money. So it just blows my mind that someone out there with millions and millions of dollars would say, you know what? I'm going to give my money, my hard-earned money, to a university that's financially irresponsible. That's just my opinion. That's not anything more than that. That's Cole's opinion. But again, if somebody out there does save them financially, it's going to take a lot to build that back up. I don't know.
Makes you wonder if they shouldn't pursue a model that takes them away from being a private university into being a public university, so that they can get taxpayer-funded support, right? So that the state can help them out if this happens.
Texter says, athlete or not, if I'm a student, even if they do turn it around or stay open, I'm not confident in staying and this happening again next year. And you're exactly right, Texter. If they do get saved by some donation. This is going to be okay. Let me rephrase my words. Doesn't it seem like this could be a regular occurrence for a university that doesn't know how to manage their money? That's just my opinion.
When we come back, Cole, on the other side of the break, Melissa Leavell is here. She's in the building, and Melissa's moment, our chance to get her thoughts on all of the biggest sports stories that we've been talking about over the last week or so, the NFL draft, Nico and Tennessee, all the different topics. We're going to bring them up with her next, right here on The Fan, Upstate.
upstate.
All right, Tolos, we've messed up. We've given her a microphone. Melissa Leavell, marketing director for Ingles Markets, joins us here on location 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont, the Powdersville store location. Still don't understand how that makes sense. We have a Piedmont address. People here say there's no way. It's not Piedmont. It's Powdersville. Melissa joins us here on the show on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. We love bringing
Hey,
you
Melissa, how are you?
every time you're here.
I know. I hadn't seen you, and it feels like, 10 years now? It's been a month. Have you been able to sleep at night, Melissa, without seeing me? I mean, how have you been holding up okay?
As long as I can listen to you.
As long as you look, you turn it on and leave.
Melissa is a Tolo, right?
That's right.
She gets it. She gets it. We bring her on every chance we get because, number one, every time we do, the Tolos text in and say, we love hearing from Melissa. She's got so much energy. She is a former college and NFL cheerleader, for crying out loud. She is nothing but a barrel of energy. And she brought me some cake. She said, good luck fitting into your wedding suit after this.
Yeah, no, I said you already did the wedding. And
Yeah.
Fit into it, so
now I can go there. Yeah. Next time I have to wear it, I'll have to crash diet all over again to get back into this thing.
Chocolate chip cookie or pizza, which I had to leave on the other side of the store because I probably covered the melted chocolate chips all over my mouth.
She's not lying. She stashed it in the dairy department. She said, I have to put it over there so I don't keep snacking on this thing. But yeah, every time we bring you on, we love getting your opinions on everything that's going on with sports. First of all, of course, our hearts go out to you and the entire Florida State community after what happened down on that campus a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, has it really even been a couple of weeks?
Oh, it was last week.
A week ago.
Last week.
I mean, it's got to be wild watching this unfold on live television. Knowing that these roads, these buildings, these all these areas so well, to see it happen to you. Nobody thinks it's going to happen to them and to their school and to their community until it actually does.
The real thing nowadays is everybody sort of thinks it could happen to their school, right?
Yeah.
But I was working. I was sitting at my desk, and somebody came in and said, "Have you seen? It's only been a minute." And they gave me the YouTube link, and I started watching immediately. And I just started crying. I started to cry like a baby. It was so familiar to me. It was in front of the student union, which is where everybody used to hang out. Used to hang out in the student union and watch General Hospital. I mean, all the soaps, everything. That's where everybody went. And I saw all the things that happened with the reporters, people that you did. It was just really affected me more than you thought, kind of like a PTSD, right? Because you think that campus is going to be okay. Like you said, you don't think it's going to have years. You got to respect it, right? But I never expected it. But I was, glued to it. They waited a long time to tell you what was going on.
Yeah, so many of those situations, it's so hard to gather information because, you certainly don't want to push the wrong information out to people, and you don't want to push incomplete information out to people. Incomplete information is almost just as bad as incorrect information. So, the knowing that it's happening but not getting any concrete information about it, that's got to be tough as well.
And one of the people that was killed was Greenville, he was up there on business. Most colleges have airbar, something like that, right? So he was up there on business in a long time. Cafeteria, I think he considered cafeteria employee. So no students were, killed. So very sad. And no reason yet, no reason why, not a peep about it. So you're still waiting to see what can drive people to do that. Not that it's going to make sense to us anyway, right? But I will say the wonderful thing that just touched my heart was how wonderful our rivals were to us. Miami, Florida, the Gators, the beautiful pose with their mascots, hugging our mascot, just offering help to students, offering them a place to stay, if they want to go back on campus. I just thought it was just a really touching. I mean, it really is a community of people, even though we fight each other.
Sure.
It's a community of people, and I love it.
Hey, Melissa, to lighten it up a little bit, can you get your shovel and your working boots? I mean, my local Ingles right beside where I live on Highway 9, it's almost ready. I mean,
know.
but I need you to get in there with your shovel and get maybe your drill. I don't know what tools you're good
Listen,
with.
I'm going to get out there with a metal detector.
Metal. It looks great. There is. I know you. Look.
It's opening on the 12th of next month.
I know you can't say because you said there was some surprise coming to that location.
Oh, I know.
But they
That's
were
pretty
pouring concrete today outside, so there's some sort of outdoor something coming to our local Ingles.
I know.
In Bowling
I
Spring.
can't tell you what it is.
Can I
Will
guess?
you tell me off the air? I won't tell you.
Oh, you will too.
I will not. No, we fight like a married couple.
Melissa, it's some sort of outdoor seating.
Do not try to get it out of me.
Oh, gosh. It looks great, though, especially the inside. It's coming along really
beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. I think the official grand opening is maybe next month, September 12th or 14th.
We'll have to get our show out there. You know it?
You know what? I'd love to have that out there on the first Wednesday that it's
Ooh, we need to do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I'll get with the higher ups.
Yeah, I will.
That's you. You are the higher ups.
No boots or drills or jackets.
There you go.
Yeah, I let them.
Melissa, we have we've had a chance.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking. Literally no idea. No idea. No idea. I'm pleading the fifth on that one. Do I still fish in a pond that's not mine? What are you trying to do right now, Melissa?
No one does that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Gosh.
Melissa, so the big story coming out of the SEC this week is Nico and the NIL money and taking a huge pay cut to go to UCLA. Now, we've had the chance to talk with you a lot of different times about how you and Ingles have been involved in some NIL deals in the past, and that it didn't really work out the way that you wanted it to. And I guess you've shied away from engaging in more of those, deals. So first of all, I want to get your thoughts on the whole Nico situation, losing money by going to another school, and if Ingles was still actively putting money into an NIL collective and the star player on your team pulled a move like this, would that sort of be the straw that broke the camel's back to get you out of that game?
Oh, absolutely. But I think it's right. I'm finally glad to see people making decisions based on where they want to play, where they want to go to school, as opposed to how much money. Is that a transition?
That's what they said. It wasn't about money, but
I think at least it's a positive narrative.
Okay.
Because right now we have players going to 5 different colleges for 5 years relatively, which I think is right, but Eagle still does do collectives. We do collectives in smaller schools. We just did one with Western Carolina for basketball, and we've done several colleges. We don't do that big sponsor, huge amount of money. We just help them put something in the coffers of the college. And I think that's a better way to do it because we kind of guard ourselves from being labeled for that person or one particular player. So if somebody leaves, we don't lose it.
So when Ingles does put money into the coffers of these NILs, what are you asking from the players, right? It's not like it just goes into a blank fund and they can distribute it how they want. Okay, so
Okay, and we can have anything we want to stores, do fundraising for us.
Okay.
Posting for us as a team. Holidays do things, food drives, good drives, all those things.
Why? What's your name?
That gets a lot better for us.
Rick, can you call back at 5:20?
To one particular player that if they do leave.
This is Cole. We have Melissa on right now.
Okay, so who is how effective has that been? As far as bringing people out to the stores, which is what NIL was supposed to be, right? It was supposed to be, we're going to pay you for your services. You help promote us. We help promote you. Everybody wins. That's not really what it's become for a lot of schools. And can you give us some success stories on how good that's worked out? Okay.
Furman loaded up a truckload of supplies just because it's a players, players came up with it, so and of course, our sales in particular stores are really because they get out do things with our charity work. We have it's great. And, it's significant.
Hey, Melissa, speaking of doing things in the community, your name, the Ingles name, is everywhere in Spartanburg right now. Last night, obviously, the Greenville Drive, the other team lost to the Spartanburgers. Just throwing that out there.
I think probably because Ingles gave them a good
Just throwing that out there. 1-0 Spartanburgers win over the Drive last night. But can you talk about how that partnership has gone so far with the Spartanburgers? I've been out there like 6 times already in the first 2 weeks. I absolutely love it. It's great. Oh my gosh!
It reminds me of a really nice major league ballpark.
Sure.
Great job with it. The signage is perfect. Of course, it's great for us to be with them from the ground up, which I thought was really. It's always good. People always come and jump on a bandwagon that's already moving.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was really important for us to, with our Spartanburg stores and our Spartanburg family and neighbors, to be with them from the beginning. So
sure.
that's one of the reasons it's meant a lot to us, and it is certainly a wonderful vehicle for us. I mean, we're broadcasting on television on the CW with Nexstar 15 Spartanburg and they're broadcasting the state of the art. It looks exactly like a national game. I mean, it's really, really beautiful. And we've got the animator out there and their person doing color, and it's fun. That's a lot of fun. They have great food. And the fans are loving it. They're just soaking it in. I mean, I just love it.
Melissa, you were talking about the ways that Ingles gets involved. Number one, with minor league teams, with name, image, and likeness opportunities. I'm sure there are a dozen more ways that Ingles gets themselves involved and really entrenches themselves in the community that a lot of people don't even know about. What are some of the fun ways that Ingles is helping out that doesn't get the same kind of publicity as a huge Ingles banner on the wall left center at a ballpark?
Well, I mean, I think that some things that are really fun that we do, tight sponsorships that are later, is that we still have a $1 strikeout at the Spartanburgs, which means every strikeout during the regular season and any playoffs they go to, Ingles donates $1. And they get to do their charity, their choice. They give thousands of dollars to that. It's going to go to Spartanburg. We do that at colleges and universities. From the sports point of view, every one of them is fun for us, right? And they create a partnership with family, which are media. But we also do it in schools, which is a wonderful program, which is really basically stored, link your school to your Advantage card. And every time you shop, money goes to that school. You earn money, buy supplies, and buy things for teachers have a night off. And this helps them make it go to a wonderful school supply company and spend English money and get money.
Melissa, text I want to read to you on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line says, because of their involvement with Furman and the SoCon as a whole, I choose Ingles over every other store. So a really cool text there.
That's awesome. And we love our friends at Furman. I tell you what, I don't know if other people know that during football season they have a fan zone, and that fan zone is a man called Commodore Fonz.
Yeah.
He happens to be the owner of our company.
Yeah, playing the guitar, right?
Yes, I hope he keeps his day job again. So talk about himself. It's great. They're a good band. But we love our Furman fans, and it's something good about Furman that they've been able to help us with. We're going to be making the investment. We're bringing American Legion baseball back this summer to the Furman baseball field. That has been used because of shutdown since the pandemic, and that's going to be huge. We're going to have 10 games, 10 home games, and Ingles is providing concessions and also the investment for the field. And that's just a really cool thing. My beginnings of my American Legion baseball was that, so it was really a lot of fun for us, and I think there's a lot of people in that downtown coming from the ones that I was that really miss heavy baseball.
Melissa, the NFL draft is kicking off officially tomorrow. You got Thursday. You got Thursday night action. You got Friday night action. So help me put together a little menu because I don't know what I'm going to eat during the draft, and I want to have something different each night. So I'm looking at the deli right now, and I'm seeing pizza, and they do pizza by the slice here. You could go to any Ingles Market right now and grab a nice slice. They do whole pies, take and bakes too. She loves sushi. She really does. I don't know that it's a draft food, but maybe that's how I get her. Maybe it's how I get her to sit on the couch while the draft is on. I just put a tray of sushi in front of her, and she'll stay put. Yeah.
Charcuterie board.
Charcuterie. They did. So how many? If somebody wanted to order wings for their draft party, what kind of quantities can they order wings in? How many sauces can they get?
And order ahead of time and have them that. So if you have people coming who want to do 150 or 200 things, you have to do that vegetables, sauces, the celery and the ranch sauce and all that stuff. So wings, you can do a tender tray too, the same way. You can mix it up. Then you can have cheese and a vegetable platter. You can have a dessert platter. You can do the whole thing. So you can get it all done. And all the platters is listed right on that website. And you can
Melissa,
can you set it up for the exact time you want to come and pick it up? I'll be here at 5 o'clock. Have it ready by 5 o'clock. Love it.
Melissa, if you were the GM and you had the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, who would a Melissa Leavell choose with her number 1 overall pick?
I don't know.
Oh, no. All right, how about this? Shedeur Sanders, quarterback from obviously Colorado.
I hope this goes down. I love it.
What about Cam Ward out of Miami? You being a Florida State girl.
I love his all right.
She's a little biased, Cole, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
Him over Cam Ward, though?
Yes, I do. You know why? Because I think he has a different outlook on football than someone who's just been in for the money all the time. It's been a job for him for the whole time he's been in college. Okay, we're Sanders and Hanson. Okay, it's been in the love of the game.
Well, I mean, and to that point, Shedeur only transferred once. Cam Ward transferred twice.
Right, and I like that only happened. We started after that 2 times you can transfer. But I mean, it's just insane what you can do here. Seriously, the idea about being able to go to college, play for the team, establish that camaraderie within your team is what makes a truly great team great. You can have really incredible players, and then you have them so divided and so. They just don't have a cohesive part to them. It's a business. I expect North Carolina to do very well this year. You know why? Because they got an NFL coach.
Yeah.
It's used to maneuvering in this system.
Gio Lopez coming in from South Alabama is an excellent quarterback, too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he knows how to pick his notes. And you know what? If he's in a pill tax year, you're going to want to go there because you want to go there because they think you're going to have a better chance of getting it. I think it's watch North Carolina. North Carolina this year. I actually think Campbell better pick for somebody. But have you ever noticed how this happens? You get this wonderful, huge pick that's just great, just follow.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And then your Tom Brady is going with the sixth round or whatever. And he was 96 pounds, like soaking wet.
He's about the size of this water bottle right here.
So I'm hoping to Travis this year.
Yeah. Melissa, you are the absolute best. We always appreciate your time, even if I don't get to see you in person. Thanks so much.
Well, I'm so glad I got to hear you.
I'll be at the Spartanburgers tomorrow,
She's swooning, Cole. She's fanning herself off camera.
I wish you were in Spartanburg. I'll be at the Spartanburgers game tomorrow.
I'm going to be at the Spartanburgers on Sunday. We have television today. So
okay.
Those are the games we broadcasting on the CW.
Okay.
You guys have been out there with us all the time. I just love having our partnership with and the fan out there in Spartanburg just has raised it to such a better level.
Yeah.
Such a
You're the best.
Appreciate that.
Melissa
really do.
Leavell from Ingalls Market. She is the absolute best. We will take a look at some of those draft profiles from the NFL draft. Odyssey's put together some really nice draft profiles for us to hear. We'll start with the offense today. That's next right here on the Fan Upstate. Diesel is live on location at Ingles Markets for another hour and a half or so. He's at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. It's the Powdersville location. I am back in the Ingles Markets studios over here in GE Vegas. So good to be with you on this Wednesday. You got some gift cards. Still hadn't given them away yet.
I got a bunch of them right here. Yeah, I got a bunch of them. I got 4 of these things left. You want a couple bucks off of your next order at Ingles Markets? Come on by 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. Go through the front door, hang a hard right, past the Starbucks, and we're right here.
I like it. Tolos, go see Diesel until 7 o'clock today. I'll be on location. Come out and see me tomorrow at the Hub City Spartanburgers game from 3 to 7. If you plan on being at the Spartanburgers game, get there a little early. Come by and say hello to me. I'll be there tomorrow from 3 to 7. Diesel, let's go through. Odyssey did a really good job with some of these sounders in terms of NFL draft prospects of maybe the biggest players offensively and defensively. And let's say we'll start with offense. We'll do a little defense tomorrow as offense. Look, it's the sexier of the two. People love the offense, and let's hear and react what these draft experts have to say. Let's start with somebody we just talked about a few minutes ago in Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter, cornerback and wide receiver, Colorado.
Shator takes a step. He throws this one towards the end zone. Fighting for it. Up with the football. Touchdown, Colorado.
I filled out a chart this week. Okay, so I signed it, coded it, everything. Ready to go. Okay, and
he was battling with the defensive back, falling down the catch in his back of 23 yards. We've never seen so much.
There's never been in the draft quite like Travis Hunter.
Tomorrow's going to be great.
Receivers in the draft.
I can't wait.
Also the best cornerback in the draft.
Yeah, they would.
Hunter's unique skill set led him to win the Heisman Trophy, racking up over 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns on offense and 32 tackles and 4 interceptions on defense. Some wonder if he can play both ways in the NFL. Hunter is adamant he can. He is a one-generation prospect.
There's never been a player in the NFL draft like Travis Hunter. Wow, those are big, bold words. Look, I think when you talk about storylines, that's one of the most intriguing storylines is, look, this guy does play or did play both ways in college, Diesel. Can he do that in the pros? I don't think there's anything disrespectful about putting a TBD beside that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, is the coaching staff going to want him to specialize? I mean, there's people all his life who've been wanting him to specialize. Pick a side, Travis. Be on our side of the ball. Be on – no. You got to be on our side of the ball, Travis. Look, I mean, there's not many of those guys that come along. I hope that they give him the first year or two of his career to figure it out, right? And figure out what, his absolute best possible aptitude at the NFL level is. Maybe he gravitates to one of the, maybe he's great at both. And he truly is one of those players that just blow you away with this unprecedented level of talent we just don't see. At some point, if somebody is special, just let them be special and instead of trying to force them into a box.
What about at the running back position?
Ashton Genty, running back, Boise State.
Hand off Genty again, up the middle to the 30. Gets to the outside, to the 40, to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20. Touchdown, Ashton Genty. It's 20-0. 75 yards for Ashton Genty on the run.
The Heisman runner-up had an electrifying junior year at Boise State. Genty ran for 2,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, had 24 runs of over 20 yards, and 5 touchdowns of 70 yards or more. He's a transformational talent, the type that can completely change an offense. He is slightly undersized at 5'9" and 215 pounds, but Ashton Jeanty could immediately become one of the NFL's best playmakers.
You know what? We talk a lot about the quarterback position, and I said it earlier in the show. I would love, Diesel, if Ashton Jeanty was the guy in this draft that said, you know what? There's a lot of talk about how bad this draft is. I'm going to show y'all why you made a mistake in not drafting me.
What did they say his measurables were? 5'9", 215?
5'9".
Is that what they said? Because I just happened to look up, how big was Emmitt Smith? Maybe you've heard of him. How big was Emmitt when he played? Guess what? Emmitt Smith was 5'9", 215 when he played.
He's pretty good, by the way.
Happens to be one of, if not the best running back in the NFL of all time, at least in the top 3 when you talk about that conversation. Look, I mean, body types change over the years. 5'9", 215 might have been as good as it got back in the 90s, but now that would be considered small. I don't know, but what I do know is that Ashton Jeanty has the ability to get off of contact, get free, and break loose on big-time runs. That seems to be his special ability. His cheat code is that he can bounce off of guys and not go down. You don't get to pick up 20, 25, 50, 70-yard runs if you don't have the ability to break free and get out of tackles.
How about that guy from Miami?
Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami.
Ward, the throw, spins out of the pocket. Sets up and rifles this one down the sideline. Caught! It's rushed up on the 10, at the 5, and he races into the end zone for a Miami touchdown. With 6:07 to go, Miami's back in business.
Don't give up on your Hurricanes just yet.
Ward was prolific in his final season at Miami, throwing for over 4,000 yards and 39 touchdowns. In his 5-year collegiate career, Ward threw 158 touchdown passes, breaking the all-time Division I record. He's a proven playmaker with strong pocket presence and the ability to create off script. He has all the tools necessary to become a franchise quarterback in the NFL.
Not saying that he can't be. Not saying that he cannot be a franchise quarterback, but I still think Diesel, even though, and this may upset Madcraft and the other 2 Miami fans out there, I don't know if this guy's a surefire pick. I just don't.
Yeah, Madcraft is already in the stream. Oh, I wonder what it would have been like if he could have made the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe he would have sat out. Who knows with this guy?
Maybe he shouldn't have lost the games he needed to.
That's right. You don't lose the games that you win down the stretch, and he would have been in the playoffs. I mean, we just heard from Melissa. She certainly doesn't want to see Cam Ward go number 1 because she doesn't want to see a guy who bounced around from school to school to school and made it about money be the guy that gets rewarded with the number 1 overall pick. Look, say what you want, like it, don't like it. He's a professional now, and these guys are playing for money. Could he go be one of those elite talents? Yeah, I don't know if he's got it between the ears, though. I think he's got every, skeletal, muscular tool at his disposal to go be a great quarterback. But I don't know if he's got it between the ears.
How about a dark horse for you?
Luther Burden, wide receiver, Missouri.
Cook claps and takes the snap, looking left, throws it, left sideline, caught by Burden inside the 5, touchdown Missouri. A perfectly thrown ball on the back shoulder fade. Luther Burden to the house, and Missouri's got the lead with 1:10 to play.
A 2-time first-team All-SEC selection, Luther Burden is an explosive all-around weapon. As a freshman, he became the first player since 2008 to record 2 receiving touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and a punt return touchdown in the same season. As a sophomore, he brought in 86 receptions for over 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns, but only had 676 yards with 6 touchdowns in his final year with the Tigers. That concerns some scouts, but many are enamored with his elite playmaking ability.
And, Diesel, we talked a lot about Luther Burden at the beginning of the college football season. Yeah. Only problem was his team just wasn't that good. They weren't. Missouri wasn't that good last year.
Yeah, he's not the biggest guy. He's only 6 feet tall. You can't grow that, right? You can make your legs stronger to jump a little bit higher, and that is his ability. He's also lightning fast. I just don't know if his size is going to translate, especially for a guy that's going to want to break free. He better be running absolutely perfect routes with his size to get open.
A guy that does intrigue me a lot, though, tomorrow. A lot.
Jalen Milroe, quarterback, Alabama.
Milroe, quarterback draw, has room 30, 35, 40, foot race across midfield, 30, 20, 10, good night, touchdown Alabama, 72 yards.
The most physically gifted quarterback in the draft, Jalen Milroe ran for over 700 yards and 20 touchdowns in his final season at Alabama. He's a human highlight reel with the ability to score from anywhere on the field, on the ground, or through the air. But the highs with Milroe come with noticeable lows. He can struggle in the short to intermediate passing game and has occasional problems with ball security. But few quarterbacks can match Milroe's all-around skill set.
Interesting quarterback. He does have the physical tools, Diesel, but just like you said a few minutes ago with another player, the NFL has proven and shown us over the years that just because you have the physical tools doesn't mean you'll be successful.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, Cole, but fumbles aren't looked upon kindly in the NFL. He has got to find a way to fix that. Now, if he goes to the right situation, maybe he shows out, maybe he fixes that issue and gets a chance to get on the field and wows us. I don't think he's Jaden Daniels. I don't think he's that far off, though. If he can fix the fumble issues, look out. He could be one of those guys that sort of reemerges a couple of years down the line and has the ability to wow people.
And could this guy, maybe not in the category of a sleeper, because he's potentially Diesel going to be selected in the first round, but there's got to be a team out there that has this guy on their bullseye, right? I mean, there's got to be.
Jackson Dart, quarterback, Ole Miss.
From the 35, first down, play action. Dart fires deep over the middle. He's got Wells, touchdown! Wow, this offense has been wicked for some time. 2 plays, Rebels lead 6-0.
A smooth operator in the pocket, Jackson Dart threw for over 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns in his final season at Ole Miss. He has great touch on his throws, precise ball placement, and a quick release. Dart's also mobile, running for nearly 500 yards last season and can extend plays with his legs. He struggled a bit against top competition, which does concern some scouts, but he has the tools and toughness to be an NFL starter.
Does he kind of remind you, Diesel, of Baker Mayfield in a way? And just having that kind of that swagger, that grittiness. He's got the arm talent. He also, he has decent legs as well. I mean, who knows where he'll land or if he'll be in a good spot or not. But I think there's some upside with this guy.
Yeah, I think really decent legs is all you really need in the NFL, right? Sure. They don't ask NFL quarterbacks to run the ball nearly as much as they do in college. So his downfield passing, and it's based on the offense that he ran at Ole Miss. His downfield passing is great. His short intermediate stuff, that's going to take a lot of timing and a lot of work. But that's the whole point of the offseason, is working on those things and getting better at those things. I'd rather have a guy who already has one of those attributes kind of in the bag and ready to go, and you just need to hone the other one. I'm high on Jackson Dart. I think he'll end up being a really good pro down the line.
I've got one more for you before we run to a break.
Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Will Howard, front man in a pistol behind center. Seth McLaughlin gets the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls to his right, throws toward the goal line. Caught, touchdown. Is grabbing the ball and being slung out of bounds after making the grab. Emeka Egbuka.
Running the 40-yard dash in 4.3 seconds, Emeka Egbuka has straight-line speed that strikes fear in opposing defenses. A sure-handed pass catcher, he racked up 81 receptions and 10 touchdowns last season, helping lead the Buckeyes to a national title win. His ceiling at the next level will depend on his ability to separate from more physical corners, but Egbuka is an all-around receiving talent.
This guy's going to be good, Diesel. I believe so. And maybe it's just because, or it's as simple as he's a receiver at Ohio State, Maybe it's that simple. I just think this guy's got serious upside.
Yeah, it's easy to look good when you've got the best offensive line giving your quarterback time when you got the best quarterbacks who can put the ball on a dime, when you and everybody on your team is just more talented than just about everyone else that you're going to play over the course of the regular season outside of maybe 1 or 2 games. Like, he's going to be a game changer for somebody in the downfield passing game. His ability to separate is going to be lights out.
Madcraft says you can ask for the money when you lead the league 2 years in a row. Madcraft, you got to get better with this context, man. Who are we talking about? Who led the league 2 years in a row?
He's still on the Cam Ward thing.
Dear God.
You said the words Cam Ward, and Madcraft's brain locked in, and he's going to be talking about Cam Ward for the next 4 days.
What happens if Cam Ward's a bust? What happens? What happens, Madcraft?
You need to set you need to set an alert in your phone for the conclusion of the Week 17 game for the Tennessee Titans, and then come right back to Madcraft after that alarm goes off and say, "Hey, I told you so." On this date, on April 23rd at 5:42 p.m., I told you he was going to be in the NFL.
I like it. I do. I like it.
Well, you're not petty enough to do that.
I've been
petty enough to do that.
100%.
I've set alarms to tell somebody I told you so.
I'm petty.
No, are you not supposed to do that?
No, I'm petty. I'll do it. I like petty. There's nothing wrong with some good pettiness every now and then.
When we come back, let's whip around the sports world, see what else is happening out there. Our Daily Wires next.
and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
We spent a lot of time breaking down the draft today, among other topics, but there's a lot more going on in the sports world, Cole. We get to them in this segment. We call it our Daily Wires. This is the buzz happening around the sports world. Clemson baseball got a big win last night against Georgia, 3-0 the final score. Clemson now 36-7 on the season, number 2 in the country. Is there a chance, Cole, that they maybe jump to number 1 this week? It's going to be hard to pull that one off, but they certainly looked really good against a game Bulldog squad. Clemson put 5 pitchers on the mound last night. They held the Georgia Bulldogs scoreless, a team that averages 9.1 runs per game.
I'll tell you what, man, that win last night was monumental. Like, I know it was a midweek game, and it doesn't go against your conference standings, but for Clemson to do what they did to Georgia last night and shut them out, I'm telling you, Clemson, like, I looked at last night's game as okay, let's see what you're made of kind of game, right? You're number 2. You're really good. Georgia's also really good. And Clemson just looked like the better team in every facet. This truly is the number 2 team. There's no denying that. Clemson baseball, boy, they're legit.
The South Carolina Gamecocks also in the win column last night. They beat North Florida 3-2 in 10 innings on a walk-off from freshman KJ Scobie. It's not what you want to see the South Carolina Gamecocks having to do against a team like North Florida. You don't want them to have to go to extra innings against a team like that. But, hey, you get the win in a year where wins are hard to come by. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it does. Again, to your point, I looked last night in the ninth, and it was 2-2. I was like, oh, boy. I mean, this could get bad in North Florida. But they won the game. That's all that matters, Diesel. I think we've said this 2 or 3 times now this year for the Gamecocks. Thank God for the midweeks. Thank God for the midweek. They need them.
They just fill out the rest of the schedule with midweek opponents.
Man.
How about that? The Hub City Spartanburgers last night claimed victory in their first ever matchup against the Greenville Drive. 1-0 the final score at Fifth Third Park. Here's a crazy stat, Cole, for you. The Hub City Spartanburgers have won every season or every series opener this season. Back on the 4th, they beat Aberdeen 4-3 on the road. On the 8th, they beat Wilmington 6-1 on the road. On the 15th, they took down the Bowling Green Hot Rods in their first ever home series. And then they get the first win against the Greenville Drive to start the series. This team is dangerous in game number 1.
I was there. It was a great game. It was a pitcher's duel. I mean, every pitch was intense. However, y'all have had a baseball team for all these years in Greenville, and y'all couldn't beat us. We're the newbies on the block. Y'all let the newbies on the first game? Come on. Greenville, come on, man. Let's go, Spartanburg.
It's embarrassing. Look, I mean, with minor league ball, these guys are rotating in and out so much that this team, this 2025 Drive team, doesn't resemble the 2024 team, but nobody around here cares about it. It's all about the name on the front of their jersey. In single
and we're going to get them again tonight, too. We're going to get them again tomorrow night, and then again on Friday.
By the way, Game 2 is set for 6:35, so just about 45 minutes away from starting Game 2 of the series. The Atlanta Braves now 9-14 on the season after dropping Game 2 to the not quite atrocious, but not good Cardinals, 10-4. The final game of the series was today at 12:15. Cole, trying to look real quick.
How about those Bravos today?
They got
4-1. Yeah, 4-1 win for the Braves today. Big win.
Series win.
That's right.
The NFL draft is now just 2 days away, but the Dallas Cowboys still looking at ways to improve other than the current 10 selections that they have over 7 rounds. Owner and GM Jerry Jones said after Tuesday's pre-draft news conference that the Cowboys are working on, quote, pretty substantive trades regarding players, although he didn't give any specifics. Could this be the move that some pundits like Mike Kay from the Charlotte Observer were talking about when he said the Dallas Cowboys are a little desperate and they may package something big together to try to move up to 8 where Carolina is?
Now, desperate's the right word. I mean, we've been desperate for a long time now, Mike. Long time, buddy.
The Detroit Lions will face the LA Chargers in the 2025 Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio on July 31st. The game will kick off the NFL's 106th season and will be broadcast on both NBC and Peacock. The Lions, who are winners of the NFC North last season, will be the home team, while the Chargers will be the visitors. And last one here for you, Cole. This one's wild, dude. Czech leaders, like as in the Czech Republic leaders, have condemned threats made by a former Russian president and prime minister against NHL great Dominik Hasek for his critical stance of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Dmitry Medvedev, who is currently deputy head of Russia's Security Council, chaired by President Vladimir Putin, said that through his assistant, that Hasek suffered from Russophobia and should be careful while crossing roads and should not drink beer in unverified places.
Yeah, wild's the right adjective there.
I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of a government official not so veiled threats against a professional athlete.
It's wild.
This way.
It's
That's
wild.
Crazy stuff.
Final hour, Tolos, the power hour of the show coming your way. Let's see if we can get an update on the weather. Weather looks good here in Greenville for tonight's Hub City Greenville Drive game. Get into what happened with the Braves, a little NBA as well. That's all next.
Upstate.
It's the final hour, the power hour of the program. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. Diesel is on location for another hour at 903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. It's the Powdersville location. And just so happened, Diesel, Rick and Greer strolled by. We told Rick and Greer that he was punished for not calling in lately, so he did get a little slap on the wrist for that. But he has a few minutes to join us on headset, which could get wild. We don't really know. Well, I have the shoulder ready for the FCC button, the dump button, if we need to, behind us. But, Rick, it's been a while, man. How are you?
I'm good. Been working.
I don't believe that.
Been working a lot.
I don't believe that.
Which one of your 25 businesses, Rick? Are you talking about doing
delivery service?
Delivery.
It's right. It's still Boober Eats.
Boober Eats.
So,
I
Rick,
didn't think they would let you deliver for them. Because you don't have the required equipment.
I don't. Yeah, you gotta have girls to deliver.
That's right.
So it's hard to find.
Hard to find workers nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Walmart women that want to work for Boober Eats.
Yeah, yeah, you went there. Let me ask you this: if you, as a sports fan, you're a Braves fan, you're a Clemson fan, and who's your NFL team again?
My NFL team are the Buffalo Bills.
He's flashing that ring again.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He did show us that ring, didn't he? If you could challenge or talk trash to any Tolo out there, if they called the show right now, do you think you could win a one-on-one debate with them, Rick?
Yeah. I want to debate Tom.
Oh, these two have long-running beef.
Oh, man. Tom in
Somerville is calling you out.
Somerville is just a trashy little.
Oh my God! Now he's trying to start. He's not trying to start fights.
Oh,
he's trying to start forest fires.
What are you not? I mean,
they've got 3 good restaurants down there.
2 of them are McDonald's.
3 good restaurants.
One's Hardee's.
So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow night, Rick? If you had to put your radio show host cap on for a second, as Diesel and I do, I mean, give us Tolos out there, because Rick, you are a Tolo, and you turn it on and you leave it on most of the time. What are your thoughts on the first few picks in the NFL draft? Are you going to go with Cam Ward first to the Titans?
No, I'm going Shedeur Sanders to the Cleveland. Shedeur will go to Cleveland. That'll be number 2.
Number 2?
I don't think he'll be number 1. I think the running back from wherever it is.
Boise State. We're talking about Ashton Genty.
Madcraft. No, you're put the booze down, Rick. Madcraft says apparently on the stream, he says apparently Rick doesn't want to debate me. Are you scared of Madcraft, Rick?
Haven't called it right.
Well, Madcraft, you heard the man.
844.
Diesel, here's the problem. Let me just be honest with you and Rick both. I don't think Madcraft has the you-know-whats to do it. Madcraft doesn't want to debate. He wants to talk and then just hang up.
Talking points.
Both.
Oh, well, Madcraft is a creature of emotion. We know that. I mean, you say the words Miami Hurricanes or the Chargers, and he goes into a tizzy and he loses all focus and can't bring salient points.
The Miami Hurricanes.
What's your biggest, Rick? What's your biggest?
When the Buffalo Bills were good.
Rick, what is your biggest gripe you have with Madcraft?
His voice, the sound of his voice, just like a board, chalkboard, nails on a chalkboard.
Madcraft, would you like to respond?
You know what? I don't think I do. That hurt my feelings. That hurt my feelings.
He actually did call. He actually did. Rick said that you stood no chance against him. I said, yeah, I think Madcraft has a pretty good shot. I talked you up, but Rick said you didn't.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say something. I've already told y'all many a times. These colors do not run. All right, I don't run from nothing. And Rick, I thought we was best friends. I don't know what's going on here.
Have you ever invited me to go out to eat or Madcraft? No.
Well, you know what?
Friends, okay?
Madcraft doesn't invite anybody anywhere. Rick, let me tell you this, Rick. Madcraft last night was at the same baseball game that I was at. And guess when he told me he was at the game where I was? He told me after the game. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Well, Madcraft's been asking for years to get together a Tolo golf outing. And the first time we say, hey, Madcraft, you want to come to play golf? He goes, oh, no, sorry, I can't do it. I can't. My clubs are getting clean.
That's okay. That is y'all are doing me unfair. Okay, number one, Cole was at this game and took a video, and I'm in this video, y'all. I am in the video, and Cole never said a word to me. Never even.
Where were you, Matt?
I had no idea.
You never said a word to me. You never said a single
I had no
word.
idea you were there.
You never said a word, man.
Madcraft, what city do you live in?
I live in Sparkle City.
Spartanburg?
I do. I actually live up towards the Inman area.
Oh, Lord. You might be related. You might be related to all my kinfolk live in Chester.
All two of them.
Three,
sorry.
Rick. They run a peach orchard up there called Jolly's Peach Orchard.
Rick, did you hear Madcraft last week when he called in and somehow your name got brought up and he said something about that the redneck that calls in from Greer but never said your name. That's all he said.
We're at the store all the time.
Hey, you lying now.
Huh? What? Yeah. What do you mean, Matt? Huh?
Right. Well, first off, I didn't say that. And listen, Rick, I have never disrespected you on these airways. Okay. Like I just told you, I thought we was best friends. So I'm not really sure. But listen, if you want to go toe to toe on anything, I'll go toe to toe right now. Hey, guess what? Guess what the Braves are doing?
The Braves won a game. The Braves did win a game.
I got my Braves hat on right now.
Look, he went negative again, guys.
But he's being positive today. Rick's wearing the hat. He's over here talking good things about the team. God.
Oh, man. Well, hey, you know what?
You're like tossing a quarter in the air. You flip-flopper.
Madcraft, are you going to be
on the train?
Real quick, before we let you go, we're going to get Hurricane Jeff on the phone line. Are you going to be upset and admit that you were wrong when Cam Ward officially becomes a bust?
Hey, look, I'll be honest with you. Let's be truthful here. When it comes to quarterbacks going to the NFL, it could happen, and he's not going to the best place, at least in my opinion. But
Buffalo,
you know,
is he? Oh,
no, he's going to Tennessee. Hey, listen, hey, y'all have one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, and still can't do nothing with it. So just stay on back there. Hey, I also want to let you know that back in the 90s when you were talking about when Miami was good and you said Buffalo was good too. Well, technically not, because y'all didn't win anything. Technically.
Come on, man.
I don't really know what you're talking about.
The
Super Bowl ring.
The best bridesmaid there ever was. I'll tell you that much.
I got a Super Bowl.
Hey, y'all have a good one.
See you, Madcraft.
Thanks, Madcraft.
Super Bowl
and Cole,
ring.
we just had a Toby signing. Toby came by. He's never been to one of our live shows before, but he has been by a Fan Upstate live show before. So special shout out to Toby who came by.
Toby
just came to see me.
That's probably what it was.
Here Rick and Greer was here.
That's probably what it was.
He's on the other side of town. He hauled butt over here.
Rick, before we let you go, Hurricane Jeff, we're going to go to the phone lines. Hurricane Jeff wants to weigh in. What's up, Hurricane Jeff?
Nothing much, brothers. I thought I'd call in and just kind of help my brother Madcraft out there, but it sounds like he was holding his own.
Yeah, he's okay every now and then because you're a Hurricane Miami. That's right. I forgot about that. We do have more than one Hurricane. So, we give him a lot of crap. But, no, I thought he held his own pretty good.
Well, I'm thinking that I think Cam and Shador both are going to do fairly well, but I think it's also going to be a product of environment. I think it just depends on what they surround them with, what their offensive lines are going to look like. I think that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to determine how well they do.
Yeah, 100%. No, you're right. I mean, Diesel and I said a million times, where you go matters, right? Where, what franchise, what city, who your coach is. I mean, you're 100% right there.
Are they going to win the ACC this year?
Who?
Miami?
No. Jeff, are they?
I think they stand just as good a shot, but I don't know whether they're going to be Clemson this year, though.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think Clemson.
As good a shot as who? Boston College?
Well, now listen here, son. I think that they have a fairly decent shot. I think they got some good pieces in there. I think that their wide receiver core is young. That's probably going to be the most telling thing because they have a very experienced offensive line. So I think that they'll be able to hold their own when it comes to that. But what about the quarterback? Whether they can hold on to the ball.
What about the quarterback, Hurricane Jeff Carson back? I mean, what's your thoughts there?
I think that as long as he's healed up, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and that's what everybody has said about him in the past. So I think he'll do well.
Well, you know what? I think he'll be better than what the other. No disrespect to the guys coming in. Hurricane Jeff, thanks for the call, man.
Let me say one thing.
Go ahead, Rick.
Brothers here.
He's being mean.
Let me tell you, he looks just like Tom, and I think he's here. So, Tom, your brother's here. Call him, please.
Why do you say that? Does he look like him?
Rick's being cruel. There's a gentleman across the way who in no way deserves what Rick is throwing out there, but he kind of looks like Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future. and Rick's over here throwing him into a situation he didn't have no business being in.
Rick, you're the man. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Oh, well, just throw the headset, Rick. Yeah. Just throw it.
Just punt it while you're
just
at
punt it.
Come on now. We're only on live radio over here. You dropping the mic.
Diesel, Amazon.
He's decided he's got donut money now. I gave him an Eagles gift card. He's like, I got donut money. Look out.
April, by the way, on YouTube asked when would be at the Greer Ingles. The 21st of May, April. We will be at the Greer Ingles. So,
that's the day before my birthday.
How about that? Coming to your city. Amazon guy on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line asked, when's this Tolo golf scramble? I guess y'all have created a monster with this golf thing, right?
Well, we gotta find the right course that'll let this many degenerates on at the same time.
How many are y'all up to? I mean, is it happening?
Well, it's happening. It's three of us. It's myself, Leprechaun of Lyman. His buddy is already in. Madcraft is running scared.
You got room? Is there room for Amazon guy or no?
Well, we got to get a hold of Rob Brown because he was non-committal.
Rob's not gonna go.
And if he says no, Amazon guy, you're in.
I think you should put Amazon guy in over Rob.
We're playing Sunday at 1:30 up in Moore. If you could be there Sunday at 1:30, I'll get a hold of Leprechaun of Lyman.
Oh, y'all playing at River Falls?
We are.
Yeah.
Love that course.
Yeah, you know what it is? When I lived in Duncan, I actually lived right across from there. It is nice. It is nice. I've never played. I don't play golf, but I've been to a couple of events up there.
Yeah,
it's nice.
I didn't realize, Cole, that as Rick was taking shots at the gentleman, and I was over here comparing him to Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future. There's a speaker on the end of the table that was pointing right at the guy. Luckily, he didn't hear a thing. So,
hey, let our other Tolos decide on this. Should, on the fourth spot for this golf scramble, should it be Amazon guy or should it be Rob Brown? I don't know. I mean, Rob Brown's not a Tolo.
Rob's got to ask 3 times if his wife will let him go.
That's true.
That's the biggest problem. Is Rob is a whipped married man.
Yeah,
and says that he has to ask for permission. He's got to. He's got to write her a love note. He's got to make her dinner first and leave it in the fridge.
Pour a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Got to draw her a bath so that he can get a yes out of this thing.
Well, I hope you all have fun. I really do. Look, if I played, I'd go. I really would. I'll be out of town this weekend. But if it wasn't for that, look, count me in. I could drive the golf cart, Diesel. That's about all I'd be good for. Driving the golf cart. But now I will say, before we go to the phone lines, you got some practicing yesterday with Rob Brown and Charlie James.
Yeah. We played 9 holes at Pebble Beach out in California.
Yep.
There was
simulated.
Simulated golf, and those simulators are tough, man. It's not as easy as being out on the course because you don't know where to aim the dang ball. And maybe that's what plagues me most of the time when I play golf anyway. By the way, Toby just came by and said hello one more time.
What's up, Toby?
But Yeah, we played 9 holes at Pebble Beach, and it's not easy on those sims, but it's a lot of fun.
It's too much water and not enough land is the problem there.
Yeah, well,
too much water.
I could find water in a desert.
Let's go back to the phone lines. 844-FAN phone. Mark wants to chime in. What's up, Mark?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man.
Great.
Hey, where do you think Shador's going to go in the draft?
You know, I do think he goes in the first round. I think probably, Mark, he's going to fall somewhere between 15 and 25. I don't think he gets picked higher than 15. I mean, I could be wrong. But I don't know, man. There just seems like there's a little bit of uncertainty. Am I wrong there, Diesel? Mark, you tell me.
Well, I think that I don't think he's going to go top 15. I think this draft has got a lot of superstars in it that'll go first round. But, the second round, you're going to get some good quality picks. And, I didn't understand why Colorado retired his jersey. I think it was just to keep Dion there, because going 13 and 12 in 2 years, and you had Cordell Stewart played there back in the championship time, and he got his jersey retired. I just think it's a thing to keep Dion there. I really do.
Well, you know what? I mean, there was a lot of talk about it. I don't disagree with you. I just don't know. Look, was he a good player? Yeah, he was really, really good. But when you talk about, I think we've watered down jersey retirement. Like, when you talk about hanging a jersey in the rafters, man, not taking anything away from Shador, but, I mean, that used to be just an honor, a prestige, right?
Yeah, I think it keeps Dion happy, because if they blocked him from doing it, if they told him he couldn't do it, now that's a wedge between Dion and Colorado that the University of Colorado is not willing to drive at this point, right?
Right. I think, I think Travis Hunter winning the Heisman, that's a pretty good, thing to retire, I think, because, how many times do you have guys that win the Heisman from the same school?
It's a good point. Let me ask you this on him real quick. Being a football guy, Travis Hunter, in your mind, you think he'll be able to play both ways, Mark, in the NFL as he did in college?
I think he'll be more back and play offense in certain packages. I just don't see him playing 100 snaps a game in pros. They're too good athletes, and he's a good athlete, but if he does both ways, he won't last 7 years in that league.
Good point. Thanks for the call, man.
Hi, buddy. Thank you. See you.
I'm with him. I think at the NFL, I mean, I think he's right. I think it's a wear and tear league, man. Not saying he can't do it, but you just look back at what history has shown. It doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, and to the conversation about Shador there, depending on what mock draft you look at, again, because everybody has a different one. I've seen a lot of mock drafts having Shador go into the Steelers, Steelers.
Me too. I've seen
20,
that.
21, 22,
yep,
I think.
Somewhere right in there.
In the draft order. I think that'd be a great position, obviously, with the coaching staff there. Rick's got his Mountain Dew Code Red and his dessert.
God, that's picture worthy, right?
Yeah. I give him a couple gift cards, and he goes in to buy junk food. Of course he does. But no, I mean, the Steelers have some decent pieces, and maybe sitting a year on the Steelers gives them a chance to learn a little bit and hit the ground running when it's his turn next year.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, how much of a stink will Dion make, and how much of a distraction would it be to Dion if he's spending all of his time thinking about what Mike Tomlin and the Steelers ought to be doing with his son?
No, it's a good point. It's a good point. We'll see. I think it's an interesting piece of the puzzle when it comes to the draft of where Shador goes. And if he falls, like we talked about in the first segment, what happens if he just keeps on falling? Ooh.
When we come back earlier in the show, we had the pleasure of being joined by Nate Garner, head coach of the NGU Trailblazers. They've got a spring game coming up. He's also navigating his very first year as a head coach. Some of the things that he has found difficult to navigate in his first year, and some of the elements that he's sort of taken to much easier. We'll talk to Nate Garner next. and talk to you. Look, every team, every program, every coach wants to put their own twist on spring games. Sometimes the format doesn't make any sense anymore. But what do you have cooked up for your spring game on Saturday?
And I'm just going to put my offensive defense out there and kind of let everyone see what they're doing. I'm not going to do a whole lot of special teams right now. We're focused on getting offensive defense right. Great special teams coordinator put some stuff together, and we'll have that ready by this fall. Yeah, it's going to be mainly offense versus defense, ones versus twos, twos, ones, twos, twos. So let everyone get out there, get a shot, take a beat, and honestly go out there and showcase their talent, their ability.
Coach, how much of a recruiting pitch is this weekend when you talk about you guys, North Greenville football, hosting the spring game in your stadium on Saturday at 1 o'clock? Do you invite recruits to this game? I mean, I'm sure that, guys that you guys are looking at might be in attendance.
Well, definitely. There'll be quite a few guys. I know there's already been a bunch of high school kids reaching out, wanting to come out to the game. And all the high school kids in the area are welcome out. We want to see them. We want them to sign up for a form we're going to have out there. And that we can keep track of, make sure we're paying attention to those classes for the fall. And then I'm going to have some transfers in and let them see what we're all about.
Head coach of the NGP Trailblazers, Nick Garner, joining us here on Wire to Wire with Paul Bryson. I touched on it there in the opening question. The conversation around a lot of college football this year has been asking whether or not spring games still have a place. It seems like it's this trendy thing to do to get rid of the spring games. But let's talk about the value baked into having a spring game. In your mind, I mean, I know you've had a chance to spend time with the team. You've had spring ball, spring practices. But how is evaluating talent in a spring game different from evaluating talent in practice? You're still playing against yourselves, right?
We're still playing against ourselves, but the situations become a little more real. There's officials out there, so they got to play a little tighter than that, able to get away with all those stuff. They can get away with in practice sometimes that we don't necessarily see on tape. The other thing is we're trying to put them in stressful situations, right? We want to see how they react and how they step up and make it a very competitive environment.
I like that. I like that a lot. You do find out, Coach, about individuals when those high-pressure moments, high-pressure situations. Can you talk about the time that we were standing at North Greenville on campus just a few months ago when you were hired? Fast forward until now, April the 23rd. In your mind, when you take over a Division II college football program like North Greenville, what did you expect to have to tackle in these first few months? And also, the second part of that question is, what surprised you a little bit about this particular job?
Yeah, today is exactly 100 days since I got the job. So it's been an awesome 100 days, a great learning experience. Like, this is my first time being a head coach, and I haven't shied away from admitting that fact and telling people that I don't know everything that I don't know yet. So the biggest thing's been the learning curve of all the administrative stuff. I've already got hotels booked for all their travel for the fall, all the bus trips already planned out. I'm trying to get all the schedules and everything in line for the rest of the season. That way my staff can make plans with their family and the kids can know when they can be at home and when they want them to be here for the summer and things like that. And just trying to do all the administrative behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't realize that coaches do.
What would you say has really gone the smoothest for you in the first 100 days? You're just about the challenges, but what has maybe come a little easier to you than you expected it would?
Honestly, yeah, I'm a technology guy. So I like to leverage technology any way I can. And one of the things that I've done is I set up a system where the team can get the daily schedule every single day. They can get out to their phone automatically. It's from the locker room up on the disseminating information. That's one thing that I think has been the easiest for me. And trying to get the guys to buy into me, that's the other thing. Like, I think playing in the NFL gives me a little bit of natural credibility because of that. But then I get out there, I earn their trust throughout the 100 days I've been here by being honest with them, upfront, open, honest, and direct communication. That's one of the things that I think lacking in this day and age. There's a lot of people that kind of hide things, circumvent things, and work behind people's back, or just be deceptive. Like, even in the recruiting process, there's a lot of staffs out there that'll lie to kids and say, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z, when there's really nothing even in motion for that. That's a plan. We want to have an act. I told my staff, if I catch a lion, I'm going to fire him. that I do not want to deal with. I don't want to deal with people who lie to kids. Once the kid gets there, they're going to expect that. If they don't get what they were told, that's not right. You're lying to a kid. You're cheating them of an experience that they were expected to get. I don't want to do that.
Coach, there's a lot of conversation had nowadays about culture, right? Having that strong culture in place. You and I and
give a name
on this show a couple months ago were hired. But when you talk about evolving the culture into what you, as Nate Garner, the head football coach, wants that culture to be, is that something that you feel like is achievable in 100 days, or that's something that you just think comes along with the grind of being in with the guys every single day like you talked about?
Well, I won't know if it's achievable until we get some actual on-the-field results this fall. But I feel like it's fine into what I'm preaching, and one of our main mantras is alpha. So it means aggressive, loyal, prepared, humble, and then armored by the Word of God. Man, that's what we're founded on here at North Greenville, man. It's that religious background, the Baptist upbringing, and we lean heavily on that, man. And I think it's a great asset to these guys. They're out there giving us an alpha breakdown every single day. They're holding themselves to that accountability thing, and I think they're really buying into that mentality. And it's great because you think of that. The fox is our mascot, right? It's a pack animal. The alpha is the leader. I want them all to be leaders on the field. Go out there and attack every single thing they do every single day.
Coach Nate Garner, North Greenville Trailblazers head coach, joining us here on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Now, Coach, I did run across an actual live box last weekend down on the golf course, famous for stealing people's golf balls. So a mischievous streak as well with that mascot you got there. But so far in spring camp, who's really stood out to you the most? You can give me a couple of guys if you want to, and what is your strategy? I don't know if they're going to listen to this show, so I don't want you to tip your hand too much. But what's your plan to test those guys, and how much testing versus building up their confidence by putting them in positions to be successful are you going to do? What's that balance?
I think adversity is really how you develop guys. I'm not going to tip my hand on who I think stood out yet. You'll figure that out this fall once the team gets a chance to go to the captains. Right now, I don't want to name anyone. I could go ahead and do that, but I think that's going to take away the team's credibility if I do that. I want those guys to be the ones that choose their leaders and the guys who are going to go to war for, man. So I don't want to tip my hand on that too much. And as far as special situations, like I said, that adversity, it truly is what develops your character and who you can be when it gets tough out there on the field, because everything's not going to go right. So you gotta know how you're going to react when stuff doesn't go exactly how it's planned. How are you going to make that play? Hey, when the guy got in the wrong gap, can you understand the whole concept of the defense to be able to refit it when you see a guy fit it wrong? That's not where he was supposed to be, but hey, I can make up for him because he's in trouble, right? When you start playing that, like on the O-line, I'm the O-line guy. So hey, we worst case scenario for the O-line, if you can get 5 guys to put it out, you can at least get back to the line of scrimmage and live by another day. So when it gets crazy out there, the defense is moving all over the place, you have no idea. Hey, figure out those 5 guys who need to block. That's kind of what it is for me from an O-line perspective. Offensive wise, hey, the receiver ran the wrong route, but hey, he's into a hole. He might end up having to throw it to the guy who ran the wrong route, but then you need to correct him when you come off the field, right? So just things like that. Understanding where the adversity strikes and how you're going to adapt when it happens.
Coach, I want to go back to something you just said in that very answer in terms of not tipping your cap when it comes to captains, guys that are standing out. And I fully understand why you do that. Is that something you learned in the pros, or what made you because I'm sure there are a lot of coaches out there who do name captains pretty early in the process, right?
Oh, yeah. I've seen coaches that name the captains, but a lot of the places I've been and a lot of places I've been that have had success, the team is truly the deciding factor on who the captains are. And I think that's kind of allows them to buy in, because if those are the guys that are leading them on the field, they have to have that choice, right? Because if I'm the guy who's picking it, like, are they really going to buy into them, right? I want them to buy into me and the way I teach, but they need to buy into their brother that they're choosing. They know who they are on and off the field all the time. I only know who they are on the field and off the field a little bit of the time. So they're around them 24/7. They get to actually pick the guys they want to go to war for.
talking to Nate Garner, head football coach of NCU. You talk about players leading players, but you played all the way up to the NFL level, so you've been in a lot of different locker rooms with a lot of different personalities from season to season. How different does it feel as a player when it's players leading players versus all of the leadership having to be siloed within the coaching staff?
Man, a player-led locker room is the only way you can build a championship. I'm going to be honest, man. Like, I know I'm going to go back to high school. I was at St. Thomas Aquinas for a couple of years. We had 2 state championships, and we instilled that culture in those players, and they truly bought into that leadership role. The whole team bought into a leadership role, but then at the end of the day, they voted on 5 guys that they wanted to be their leaders, and they bought into those guys. They led them, held them accountable in the locker room. Locker room was never dirty. Locker room was kept the right way because those guys led them every single day. And I think that's how you develop a championship mindset, by instilling those values. Like, it's the little things. At the end of the day, if you can do the little things right, then I can trust you to do the big things right. What you do off the field really shows me how you're going to be on the field.
Coach, what's your schedule look like in terms of recruiting? You got 100 days ago in the upstate to lead this North Greenville football program. Obviously, you want to get your guys in over the course of the next 3 to 4 years, right? Or the next 2 to 3 years, rather. And with the portal, nowadays, you can do that a whole lot quicker than you used to could. What does it look like on a day-to-day basis for you as the head guy when it comes to recruiting?
Man, for me, I'm trying to talk to every recruit we have, man. Anyone that is coming in here, like I said, all the high school guys are coming to If an offer comes from us, it comes from my mouth. So I want them to hear from me, know that I want them to be here and be a part of this program. And as far as recruiting goes, it looks like for me, I had an official 2 days after I got here. So it was kind of a whirlwind for me with those high school kids. But we got a good class of 25s coming in. We got just a few holes to fill. We had a couple of injuries, things like that throughout the spring. And we got to fill a couple of holes in the transfer portal. We're not trying to go after 900 guys. Now, we might end up bringing a few more in just to try to help. I know you know what happened down the road from here, so try to help the guys that used to play for me over there, and just try to help them out, give them a home. But other than that, we're not trying to go out and get a million guys and replace them. I got a great foundation here. These players have bought into what we're doing. We're doing a great job.
Coach, you were an offensive lineman, and I've seen enough former offensive linemen turn head coaches to know that that is an intense bunch who go into that level of coaching. What is your plan? What is your, what do you want your demeanor to be on the sideline? That intense coach that really fires guys up. I mean, I've even seen coaches go as far as headbutting players who are wearing helmets. I wouldn't advise that. Just a little, tip of the cap for you on that one. But are you planning on being sort of that intensity style of head coach, or more cerebral guy?
Man, I live in both worlds, man. I've got a switch, right? Like I can flip the switch when I need to and get fiery, but I'm also a cerebral guy. Like I like to think and be strategic in everything that I do. And so on the sideline, yeah, I'm going to have an intensity about me. That is what it is. When I'm on that field, I have an intensity about me. You can ask the players now, even on a practice day, I'm out there, I'm taking care of myself like an offensive lineman, man. That's who I am. I'm not going to be headbutting people. I had too many head injuries for that. You ain't going to worry about seeing me bleeding down my nose. But hey, I took a shoulder pad to the eye the other day because I was trying to throw a double team in a walkthrough for the guys. So, I'm
maybe putting a delay on.
Hey, Cole, I have an idea for a bit on Monday involving
but still very
tomorrow.
uncertain. What was your reaction to a school that we just left a week ago?
We got to come up with a punishment for the loser,
potentially facing that closure.
Man, I was shocked, and I was hurt for my brothers over there, man. Like those coaches, like me and Coach Coffey played together in the league, and Coach Washington too. We played together, and right. I was shocked for those guys, the other staff members over there that I had coached with, and it was tough. I tried to reach out to them and help them in any way I can. I've been trying to help a lot of the players that were over there that have entered the portal.
So what we're going to do
is I'll help them go wherever they need to. That's just who I am, and I'm doing my best. I just had a couple of guys on campus here came to
all
visit
of the
me.
position groups. And you and I will try to predict
I'm going to help them find a home. That's one thing about those kids. I love every single one of them, and I want them to all have a place to call home, have a place they can go finish their degrees, and do whatever they can do. as far as what's going on with the school, man, I don't truly know. All I know is that they loan into the portal, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help.
Coach, fantastic stuff. We really appreciate you taking time to join us and talk about your program and the spring game on Saturday, and we'll talk to you soon, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all very much.
I guess. So 10 position groups. And
on the Fan Upstate.
How about those Atlanta Braves getting a win today? The Braves not only won a game, they won the series against the Cardinals. So things trending up for the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, they're still dealing with some injuries. Yeah, it's gonna be a big hole to climb your way out of. But the Atlanta Braves now 10-14 on the season after the 4-1 win over the 10-15 St. Louis Cardinals earlier today. Atlanta, Michael Harris had 3 hits and 4 at-bats, 1 RBI, a really good day for Michael Harris. The second, Austin Riley with a hit, Ozuna, Olsen, Albies, and Drake Baldwin also with a hit. And then the youngster Eli White getting on the board as well with a hit, and Nick Allen with 2 hits for the Atlanta Braves. Shocker, Jared Kelenic didn't get a hit. I don't know why Jared Kelenic still in this Atlanta Braves lineup, batting 167, Diesel, but he is. I think it's time. The Braves are starting to play good baseball. They have a really tough weekend ahead, but I think it's time to rip Jared Kelenic out of the starting lineup for the Atlanta Braves.
So you said a deep hole to dig out of. They're 4 games under 500 with something like 155 games to play. I don't know that hole's all that deep.
They're 7.5 games out of the first place in the division.
Well,
so,
sure.
I mean, in terms of if you want to be 500, it's not that big of a hole. If your goal is being 500, you can do that.
Yeah,
but if your goals,
this is you know as well as I do, baseball is a game of streaks, and who knows if the team that's leading the NL East division, which are the Mets. There's a lot of time, 155 games to play to make up a 7.5 game deficit. That's not that deep of a hole to dig out of. Do I think this team, as constructed with the injury problems that they have, can do it? I don't know. But we also know the Mets fall apart year in and year out. That's what they do. They play well to start the season, and then they play like buns the last 25, 30 games.
Yeah, the Mets are 8-2 in their last 10, playing really good baseball right now, 18-7 overall. And no, I think the Atlanta Braves still have time. Obviously, with how many ever games left there are, right, almost an entire season, there's still plenty of time. Do I still have concerns with this Braves team? Sure. I still have some pretty big concerns. And look, once Ronald Acuna comes back, I think this Braves team is going to be really, really good. And, it's interesting when you look at the Spencer Strider injury. I mean, he came back, it's pretty good, and then he gets hurt again. And I know it's just a 15-day IL right now, but I think, look, I know the season started badly, and I was really, really down on the Atlanta Braves, rightfully so, but I am cautiously optimistic, Diesel, to your point. There's still a long way to go. Could they get hot? Absolutely they could. I hope they do.
Well, the thing that the Braves don't have compared to the Mets is they don't have Juan Soto. And Juan Soto is an absolute monster. Now, who knows how this team changes once they get Acuna back. I'm interested to see, because I haven't seen much, Cole, of other players on this team's reaction to the Acuna drama from a couple of days ago. Don't know how they're taking it. Are they, going to rally around Acuna and say, hey, he's our guy, he's one of us, and he's pushing us all to get better? Or is it going to build some resentment in the locker room once Ronnie finally comes back?
It's a good question. I mean, I think it can go both ways. Hopefully him coming back is big enough, Diesel, just in by itself to lift this team and elevate them. I want to be very clear, and for those out there like Madcraft who will say, well, Cole, the Braves are playing good now, you were wrong. Go back and listen to what I said. Multiple times. I said the Atlanta Braves stink. At the time, they did, and I knew I was setting myself up for you Braves fans out there to say, well, if they get hot, you're going to be wrong. Well, just like Diesel said, it's a long season. They may get really good. And then guess what? Before the end of the season, they may be really bad again. It's probably going to happen. That's just the way baseball. Yeah, that's the way baseball works.
Cole, we have spent the last commercial break devising a little game that we're going to start tomorrow, pay off on Monday. For the Tolos, you and I are going to predict the player that goes first at every position group in the NFL draft. The 5 offensive position groups, 5 defensive position groups. The loser of this challenge, the one that gets the fewest number of correct first player at a position, is going to have to do Monday's show with nothing on from here down to, well, Tolos can't see, down to about here.
Shirtless.
We're going shirtless. Yeah.
The loser. I like that.
This is not a Diddy party. We're not bringing baby oil to this party.
That's right. And by the way, tomorrow I'll be live at Fifth Third Park. Chad Colmer, the manager, at 3 o'clock. Tyson Jeffers, the GM, at 4 o'clock on the show, all coming up tomorrow.
Well, hopefully we'll be talking about another Hub City.
That's
dub.
right.
It's not Hub City. It's Dub
That's
City.
right. I hope so. I hope they keep it rolling tonight, man. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. Tolos. Let's do it again tomorrow. What do you say? He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson, and we're done. See you tomorrow.